So what's up?
Morning, everybody. Good
Good
morning.
morning.
Jenna, Kim, Jody, Susie Q, Samara. Wonder who that Susie Q is.
I've heard she's a bitch.
Let me just wait before. Oh, here. Yeah, there you go. Wow. How are you guys this morning?
You
Was
got
that
an ad
was
this
that
morning.
music I just heard coming from your?
Yes, it was an ad.
Oh, what do you
Oh
got?
God, no wait, I have to turn you down. Hold on.
No, I heard me. I heard myself.
Okay,
Okay.
now you can't hear you,
No,
right?
but I did. Hey, Michigan gal, 001. I always think of James Bond movies and stuff. Samara, I must say some of your suggestions yesterday were awesome sauce.
Why am I? Oh, here it is.
Well,
I'm trying to figure out this stupid.
hi, iLurker. Why,
We
thank
can't.
you.
Oh God, it's like
iLurker.
I've not used any other device other than my phone in so long. I don't know what I'm doing anymore.
Well, you'll get used to it. So how are you guys this morning? This this is my garbage day. I'm wide awake. Wow. I slept so good last night. I watched a creepy movie, like I always do. A creepy movie. Watch some true crime videos, like cold cases, and then
I watched. Oh my God,
uh,
what's the name of it? The
Cheshire Murders.
Cheshire Murders.
Oh my
Oh my
God,
God.
it's like horrible, horrible, horrible stories. If you guys don't know about the story, look it up. It's
Go lay down.
about a family. I can't remember. The guy's a doctor, and he
Yeah.
had a wife and two daughters. And these two guys broke into his house. What did they think? They were rich or something. They had a lot of money or something.
They did. They had a lot of money. I mean, he was a doctor, and I don't know what she did, but they did a home invasion. Both of them had long histories of crime, breaking and entering, and that sort of thing. The one guy, the young guy, good looking kid. Oh my God. He used to break into state troopers' homes and he would steal stuff, had a photographic memory. He could remember what kind of wallet he took money out of, what pants they came out of, if they were hanging up like on a hook or if they were on the floor or over a chair, in every single home. He would hang out in the house and just watch the people breathing while they slept. And I mean,
That's
there's
creepy.
copious notes about him being seriously a danger and that they should have, maybe given him more time or not not let him out on parole as soon as they did. They said that if he would have been kept in prison for the for a longer period of time, that this murder would have never happened. If they would have just kept him in prison like they should have and not given him parole as soon as they did. But the other guy was like just creepo, total creepo, weirdo guy. But they had the two girls, I think one was 11 and one was 17, tied them to the beds. Um, when they first went in, they hit the dad over the head with a baseball bat numerous times. Don't even know how he lived. But then they got the mom. One of the guys took her to the bank and had her withdraw $15,000. While she was there, she was able to get a note to the teller, and the teller called 911. But it took like 30 minutes for them to even get to the house. By then, she's already back. While they were at the bank, the other guy rapes the 11-year-old and redresses her, lets her take a shower, redresses her, ties her back into her bed. During the middle of the night, while they were there with the home invasion thing starting, one of the guys left, the creepy guy left to go get gas and got several uh, things of gasoline. So they had that at the house. When they got back with her, um, the creepy guy kills, then rapes the mom. Dad has since then somehow gotten down to the basement. They don't even notice him missing, right? So they go with gasoline all over the house, sprinkle gasoline over the still alive girls, and then set the house on fire. Dad is able to crawl out. The whole time the cops were outside the house, surrounding the house, never got a negotiator to get on a loud, whatever that foghorn thing is, um, and say anything to them. But they just stayed outside. They walk out of the house and then they arrest them. They could hear the girls inside screaming and never attempted to go in and get the guys or anything when that house first started on fire. So that was kind of a big deal. The cops never made an official statement, never responded to the family's notes that they sent them, letters asking, why didn't you go in? You heard our grandchildren, our daughter, whatever, in there. Why didn't you go in? Nothing. They never responded to them. So they get the death penalty, both of them. Before the trial started, Connecticut actually voted to end the death penalty, right? And when it crossed the governor's desk, he vetoed it. Thank God. But at some point during their appeals and whatever, even though they got the death penalty, they did end up abolishing the death penalty. So now they'll just be life in prison without parole.
Hi, Ben. Hi, Kevin.
Good
Hi,
morning,
Billy.
everybody. I haven't said morning to anybody. Baby,
that's kind of one of the that's one of the stories that actually made me cry. Another one that actually made me bawl was the Brianna Lopez story.
I don't remember that one. Tell me that one. I don't remember that.
He was born on February the 14th. I can't remember if it was 2002. She only lived to be, I think it was 5 months. Mm-hmm. She was beaten, raped, bitten by her mother and her uncle and the biological father.
Why? I mean, were they just crazy?
There was not that the ground cops went into that house and actually, or when she was taken to the hospital, looked at that baby and actually bawled their head off. It was the most horrific. If you just look up the Brianna Lopez story, it is the saddest. I actually cried reading it. The abuse that little 5-month-old baby took on every day. And there was the cops couldn't find, because the family couldn't afford to give a little baby a funeral. So there wasn't the only picture they could ever find of her was the one after, post-mortem. So they cleaned up all the bruises off her face. They had a photographer clean off all the bruises and stuff off her face and took her. And oh my God, such a sad story. I mean, it chokes me up just thinking about that story right now. But yeah, that mother. And the worst part was the grandmother knew what was going on. Family members knew that they were abusing this little baby. The father would throw the baby up in the air and then move back instead of catching her, let her drop on the floor.
Oh, no.
That's just some of the abuse. If you read that story, I guarantee you will bawl your head off. I cried so hard when I read that story. Like it was just the most horrific.
Did they ever come up with any kind of reason?
They were just fucking monsters.
Did they get the death penalty?
No. The mother is served her sentence and is out now.
She's out of prison?
She's out of prison. The uncle and the father are still in prison. I'm not sure. They had to transfer them to a different state because of the crime. Which I don't believe they should give these people protective custody. I'm in my mindset, for the crime that they committed, fucking put them in with population and tell them all what they did.
Right.
Let the chips fall where they may. Hey, Smokey. Hey, y'all. I'm lurking and working. how come there wasn't the subs thing, or was there the subs matter, life's matter thing that happened last night? I didn't see it. Hello? Hello?
Hello, who? Me? Are you
Like,
asking
did the
me?
subs lives matter
I don't
thing? I
know.
looked for it and I couldn't find it.
Morning tacos, morning Pookie,
Good
Sarah,
morning, everybody.
Samara, Bay Beauty, Lurker, Michigan
Hey, two
Gal.
tacos. On your way to hell, I see. Probably. Check your email. Oh, I guess he's talking to Brian. Um, Jordan Davis case.
Hey, Ben. Good morning.
Are you just seeing him now?
Well, yeah, because I was talking like a crazy woman. Blah,
Oh, okay.
blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, I was talking too, so I missed a few people. If I
We're like
missed you,
going,
I'm sorry.
we were just saying, what's our
Sorry.
topic going to be? And you said that, and I just went, phew, took off.
What is our topic? How are you guys today?
I like that coffee cup.
What, this? This?
No, the other one you were drinking out of. I'm kidding.
No,
You
you know
do
what?
that to
This
me.
is a dollar store, Dollar General, or I think Dollar Tree.
That, places like that have the best
I
coffee
do.
cups.
I use this all the time. This is one of my favorite cups.
I like that. I like the colors.
I like the leaves and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I got it at the Dollar Tree long
Unfuck
time
your
ago.
brain. That she's reading a new book called Unf Your Brain.
Oh, really? Oh,
I need to get
okay.
that book.
Yeah, me
Hey, Jane
too.
the Teach. Smokey P.
Where
Smokey,
are
I
you
missed you
seeing these
last night.
people? How come I'm not seeing these?
Are you behind? You're probably
I must
behind.
be. I must be. Like, why am I not seeing them? I'm sorry if I didn't say hello.
It's okay.
Oh, where is can't
Out
see
of
her.
Disney cups.
Oh, there she is.
Samara
Hi,
only
Jane.
drinks coffee out of Disney cups.
Hi,
That's too
girl.
cute. I have one green cup. Well, actually, I have two of them. So I rotate them, but it's the same green cup that I drink out of. It's like an olive colored cup, like the color on your cup,
You
Carla.
only have two cups.
No,
Oh,
that I
these
drink
color?
out of.
This
No,
color?
I have, that color green.
Yeah. I switched from coffee to energy packets.
Maybe I need to do that.
Maybe I should do that too. Maybe
So
I was just such a bitch in the morning sometimes.
I have to call the doctor today because taking one lisinopril twice a day is not cutting it. So I went to 2 in the morning, 1 at night. That didn't cut it. Now I'm at 2 in the morning, 2 at night.
That's poor girl. One more
Yeah.
work day and headed to the cabin up north. Ooh.
Oh, I want to go to the cabin.
I wonder if your cabin is near where we go to visit my stepdaughter, because there's a lot of cabins up. I'm not going to ask you to dox yourself. There's a lot of cabins up there, and it's up north. That's where my husband likes to go hunting and fishing. More, I shouldn't say that in front of Samara. She hates the hunting part. Some more on the petite murders Carlo was on. Oh, oh,
Oh
is
God,
that
Jenna, I fell down a
Brian?
rabbit hole.
Can you find a link to the Brianna Lopez story? It is so bad. It is such a sad story. If you guys ever want to hear about, like, I know you don't want to hear about it, but it's actually a very, 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 it's why we have CPS and why we need to protect our children. Um, we really, and these false CPS calls are just wrong, because there are children that actually do need CPS called on them. And this is the Brianna Lopez story is one of these cases. So, but very sad case. No worries, Smoky P. I know how that gets. Sounds good. Just let me know. I will be there and I will start spreading news. Start spreading the news.
I
Like,
know, Samara.
Hey, True
I,
Helper.
there are some of
Yeah.
those, and even though they have good ending stories with the rescues, there's some of them I can only watch like a couple a day because I can watch true crime about human beings all day and it'll touch my heart. But if I start watching even the rescue stories with the happy endings, it tears me up. The beginning part of it when they're just so abused and so hurt,
Mm.
I can't watch many of them. Is that bad? I love animals more than people. True Helper, good morning.
He says, long time no see, my lovely sexy beasts. I've been lurking, but have been stuck to listening only. Busy, busy. I hope all of you have been healthy, wealthy, and blessed. You are loved. Thank you so much. That is very sweet of you to say. We appreciate that.
I've been over to Kelly's quite a bit, True Helper lurking. Not really saying a whole lot, but just listening. It's God,
I
it's
have been
getting
too. Yeah.
pretty
Very good
interesting.
channel. Yeah,
Hmm.
very good channel. Kelly, the advocate. Thank you. If anybody can post that link, it's a pretty good channel. Thank you, Jenna Moon, y'all,
She's
Carla, and
amazing.
everyone. Make it great by promoting it. So I'll email you so we can advertise. Hey, Smokey, you can come in here and advertise anytime you want. You know that.
Absolutely.
I was actually looking for that last night. Since there was no, I ended up watching a movie, which was really a creepy, gory movie. But I'm not going to go into that.
Mr. St. John,
Good
I have an
morning.
amazing story for you that is pretty freaking awful true crime if you are interested in doing something pretty awful true crime.
Good morning, Ams.
But I'll tell you about it later on. I'll message you, my friend.
Is
I'm
it the
still hunting
story
for
we talked
Jenna.
about this morning?
No, it's worse.
Oh my
It's
God,
way
how can it
worse.
be any worse?
And what's even worse is it was set back like in the 1930s, I think.
Oh, comes that's good. Two tacos. I would love to tell those bastards. So I'm not going to.
Right? But you know what? You do such an awesome service for them. The work that you do,
Yeah.
never forget that.
Hey, Puss in Boots. Morning, morning, morning.
Morning, M's. Morning, Puss in Boots.
Did you not see M's come in? Or did
Yeah,
you? I was
maybe I
just
did. Maybe I
adding.
missed it. I don't know.
I'll be in and out this morning.
Listen,
Okay, Ams.
I'm old and slow. What can I tell
I'm older and slower.
you? Not by much.
Hey,
Not by much
Carla.
at all.
Two helpers saying his hellos to everybody.
Nope, I haven't seen
Remy.
Rhonda, Remy. Haven't heard from her.
No, you got to remember that she's they're on the other side of the world, so and probably sleeping when we're getting up in the morning.
Running her chops.
And then when we're sleeping, they're probably doing all this stuff that they do in
Good
the
morning,
morning
precious so
during
and
the day.
so. I
I
love
love
that
that
name.
name.
Jinx, you owe me a Coke.
I do. Precious so and so is a cool name. Another cool name that used to come in here, and I haven't seen her in a hot minute, was Reese with Outer Spoon. That
The
name.
murder of Jeff Epstein.
Oh gosh, not sure.
I know I'm being laid off in a couple of months and just barely told me. Wish they would have told me before I signed a new lease and bought a new car. I know tacos, but you
Oh,
know
yeah.
what too? Your craft is in such demand, and that's the positive there. But it sucks when you get used to a crew that you work with every day and an environment to go to something else. It just sucks.
Yeah, she's going to go in today. No, not for them, but for her clients.
Yep, going to
I get it.
clients.
That's
Yep,
who you have to think about. Y'all
they're the
watch Human
focus.
Hunters, How I Got Involved, Part One. It's about the speed freak killers,
No, I'm gonna have to
bounty
check that
hunters.
out.
Wow. We learn so much on in here in the mornings, like about different, the murder of
Oh,
Jeff
I love
Epstein.
Precious. Her dad used to call her Precious, and she loves crafting.
That is cute. Precious.
Awesome. Do you have a channel, Precious? Are you a creator or are you just hanging out like me?
Well, the state of Texas had to take a lot of cuts, so substance abuse isn't taking priority at the moment. That's sad.
See, that's what's scary. They did the same thing with mental health
It's three
across the
parts and
board
amazing.
everywhere.
I will definitely check it out, Smokey.
What is it on?
Let's
Is it
see, is it on
Netflix or
Netflix or? Great, God, we're talking in unison this
look, we're
morning.
twins. We're in sync, baby.
I know. Sentences.
That's kind of creepy.
Yeah, we are
You
creepy,
have a
aren't
good
we?
channel.
I used to
Oh,
have a good
honey.
channel, but I was bullied and had to start again. Oh, that's.
Well, you know what? Hang out with us because we are a bully-free zone.
Would you like to come up and tell us about your channel?
Yeah.
Would you? Since you had a channel, so you're used to being, on a platform. I mean, it's up to you. And I promise I won't make you cam up if you don't want. YouTube, a very small channel with like 115 subs. Oh, it's on YouTube.
I hate
And you,
tacos. Ask them if it's New
Brian,
World
can you
Order
post
related.
do you have the link to that, Smokey? Because I would like to see that. I've been watching a lot of, I don't know, did Precious answer? We have a
No, not yet.
Precious around here. My Precious,
That's
aka Golem.
that's me. I'm kidding. It's not.
You're
Precious.
Precious. You
You
special.
ought to ask them that because
You special.
I think you'd be the perfect person to ask them that because you could do it, not even smile at them. It's gonna be, oh, well, then is it one world order related? They'd probably look at you and go, we don't
No.
know what you're talking about.
I wonder what they would say. I don't know. I really
uh,
don't know.
now the dogs are fighting. Like they're so stupid. What is
I
going
heard the
on?
knitting community is really endorsing. They're brutal.
They are. They're mean.
They're brutal. If you would ever, someone to ask me one time, like, would you like to do a video, do a tutorial video? If I dared take anything from one of those ladies that does these tutorials on there,
I care.
they would like, oh my God, they would strike me and I would be in for a world of hurt.
Well, I'm right
Because
back
that's
at you,
how it
Miss
was.
Carrie. Someone called you bobblehead?
Who did? Who did? Me?
M's.
Bubblehead?
Somebody called M's bobblehead.
Oh,
That's
no.
rude.
That's very rude. Thank you very much for asking. I won't this time. Okay, precious.
Anytime you
If
want
you have
to.
yeah, any if you ever want to and you want to promote your channel, you're welcome to come up and talk about it. And you
So
don't have to come up. I'm not going to berate you if you don't come up like some, people do.
speaking of hobbies and crafting, my paintings are coming today.
Oh
So
yeah, that's
they can
right. That's
start
right. That's
tonight.
right.
I can't
I'm
wait.
gonna start doing that too. I haven't done any crocheting for a long time,
Well,
but
when we get
uh,
off of here, let's go look at
yeah, I
Amazon
was
and see what
thinking
you want
like
to do.
I might be doing a giveaway, and it's going to be a few items that I have made. Like this is one. This is a hat. Like when winter comes, a few items like market bag and maybe some Swiffer pads, and then a gift card, an Amazon gift card. So what do you guys think?
That is so cute. I
What
want that.
The hat?
Why? See, why did I have to find you when I moved to the southern states again? I
Or
needed you when I
This
was
is
in
this is
Kansas.
this is what it looks like when it's on.
Oh my
And don't
God,
worry, like if
Carla.
I ever give it away, I will wash it because it has to be washed.
I would
Yeah,
go ahead
that's
and give them your bed bugs. I'm kidding.
yeah,
She
I
does
don't
not
have
have bed bugs.
but I have a lot of things that I can give away.
I know,
That
me
I have
too,
made,
Jenna.
so I'm gonna start um yeah, I can do slippers. I've actually got a lot of slippers up there. I've like I must have like 25 pairs of slippers I've made.
I
And I
have
got like, yeah,
fingerless
market
gloves.
sticks, fingerless gloves, Swifter pads. And you can ask, and those swisher pads are good. You can ask Ems about those.
I'm gonna have
Yes,
to try
they
those.
are. Actually, the ones that I made with, I'll show you the ones that I made. Proud of them because
Carla, you need to be making some of that stuff for merch too. You know that?
like these ones here are really, really, really. They're like, you know, and this one's cute, kind of cute. I like the colors. This is my favorite color, like aqua. So yeah,
That aqua color,
really
that kind
fun.
of a Tiffany's color.
Yeah, kind of.
That's beautiful.
It is, and it's warm. It's very warm, and it's light. It's light, but it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Yeah, and I have market bags. I have a few for Samara that she actually ordered from me, and I've never
I've not
gotten
seen
them.
the market bags.
You've never seen them?
Mm-mm.
Oh, I'll show you them.
I've never seen them.
Well,
Advertise,
you know,
darling.
they want you to use like reusable bags now
Uh-huh.
in stores. So I made like a bunch of these, like go
Oh,
to
cute.
produce and stuff.
Cute.
know, they're all it's all scrap yarn. All yarn I
That
got
is,
it
oh, I love that one.
all scrap yarn that I got at the Goodwill. And you know,
Hey,
so yes,
Mandy, mixed
I gotta
media.
get back into my crocheting again. Hey Mandy. I joined Mandy's membership yesterday.
Yay.
Yes. I love her. She
Those
does a lot
bags.
of crafts too. I think we all have a hidden talent somewhere. We just don't
Mm-hmm.
always, show it. I
Mine's
know
sex.
Samara's got 3
Can't
market
really
bags
share
that
that on
she
here.
ordered a long time ago. Hey, Big
Did you hear
Drippy.
me? Did you
What?
hear me? I
No.
said my hidden talent is sex.
Oh,
Just can't show it on here.
my hidden talent is pole dancing.
Pole
Um,
dancing.
no, not really. Please.
Please show us.
Hey, LaDonna. I love the market bags, and aqua is my favorite color too. Right. I love that color.
Mm-hmm.
Every time my husband gets me something now, it's always got that color in it because he knows I love that. Hey, Moonless Doc. Good morning. Good morning.
I turned my
So
coffee pot
yeah,
back
so I'm
on.
gonna do a giveaway, and
Morning, Twister sister.
I think I'm gonna do a market bag with a hat, fingerless gloves, and maybe a hot pad and some what do you call it,
Good morning,
dishcloths,
Big Drippy.
all homemade, and a gift card. So when I do that, I will do it all ahead of time and tell you all the details and stuff. So, and there's
Yeah,
that.
we need to start doing some merch with your
I
stuff.
should.
That would keep you busy.
I need to start crocheting again because I really have been. But the thing is, I have, like my husband says, you need to start doing something with stuff. I got trunks full of stuff that I've made, trunks.
I thought you said
I have
Trump's
13
full.
members now.
Like, poor
Trunks,
Trump.
full, trunks.
You've got him up in the closet
I
up here,
got
do
them
you?
I got Trump in a closet, in a
Mm-hmm.
trunk, and he's hidden away. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So yeah, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing a giveaway, and it's going to be that. And I'll go through my stuff because I won't give away anything that I wouldn't.
Is that a members
I
giveaway?
would. I think it
Yeah.
would be a members giveaway. My first
Okay.
giveaway in quite a while will be a members giveaway, and I do the towels that the towels that go over the bar on your stove. I'll
Yes.
probably need that too. So it'll be a market bag full of goodies with a gift card in there for Amazon.
That'll
So
be so cool.
yeah,
That's so
for
personalized
members,
too.
for members, for members. And that's not saying that, but I think my first giveaway should be like one of the perks of members, the membership. So I only learned to crochet last year. Try to learn something different every year. I learned to do reborn dolls the year before.
How do
Um,
you do
okay,
those?
the reborn dolls, how do you do that? Do you actually make them or you collect them? Because I never understood like they look real. Um, yeah, they look like real babies, these reborns.
I don't know
I
anything
mean,
about the
like,
reborns.
well, they
They're
look like
supposed to
real
look like
babies.
real live dolls,
They
right?
do look,
Or real
no, they look
babies.
like real babies.
Real
They
live
do.
dolls.
Oh my God.
Duh.
No, they look
I'm
like
so
real life
goofy.
babies. They do. They really do. Whew. I was
Wear
cold and
your
hot.
Trump hat every day just to piss people off. I think many don't realize how
I wear
bad, solely based on, yeah, exactly. Exactly true, Helper. That's a shame.
So yeah, so you guys leave a comment in the comment section what you think about that kind of a giveaway. I mean, I'm not sure what you guys think. If you want anything homemade, because I know there's been a few things given away
And,
that look so
and
great.
True Helper, it's sad that our political parties have to be so polarizing because there's a lot of people in, I can only speak for my political party, so to speak. But there's a lot of us in that political party that are socially pretty liberal, where, okay, we don't really care about what you do in your bedroom, but conservative in a fiscal sense. So, it's not that we all think lockstep the same exact way on everything. Just saying. Wanted to throw that in there.
Wow, precious. I
You
didn't know
buy
you
the
did that. You made them yourself.
okay,
I
you
thought you
buy the
bought them.
kit, you paint and bake and stuff. Wow.
Do they
Wow.
look like real babies? Which kind of dolls are you doing? Dolls that I've seen them, like they usually come already done in the mail and they cost hundreds. Some of them cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars, like
You're not
hundreds of
allowed to
dollars.
vote, Dory? Yes, Melinda, they do. They
Dory
sure
loves
do.
President Trump.
Tacos. I shouldn't be allowed to vote. Why? No, you should. Everybody should.
Yeah.
They should. Wears Trump hat for one of his senior picks.
Son asked to
Did,
wear his Trump hat for one of
did
his
they let
senior
him,
pick.
Bay Beauty?
Mandy not doing them to them at the moment. I'll send you photos now.
Oh,
I'd like
I
to
did.
see.
Oh, you're Canadian, right, Dory?
Oh,
Canuck.
I'm not a citizen. I have a green card, so cannot vote.
I forgot about that. Duh. You think?
But
Oh,
you know what?
Lord.
If you have a green card and you're living here, they should allow you to vote, right?
No, you're not a
Why
citizen.
not?
You're not
Why
a
not?
citizen.
Like if you're living here permanently,
That no, if you're on a green card, that's not a permanent situation. You have
no.
to renew that
So, I mean, why shouldn't you be able to?
because you're not a citizen.
Well, I know, but I don't
Because
think that's
she,
right. So, if you
I
kind of
think
have,
they should
and
let
you got
him.
a green card and you became a citizen, you're allowed to vote, right?
Oh, you have
Correct?
a permanent residency, but you're not a citizen. There's a difference.
So, if you have a permanent residency, is that there a difference?
Well, okay, so let's just say that she's got a permanent residency, but she's still a Canadian citizen. She's not a citizen here. She can pick up and go back home anytime. So let's say that you've got a ton of people here that have permanent residency, they're non-citizens.
Hmm.
They vote, and they vote opposite of the way that you want to vote. Let's just say, for example, this is a real way out there example, but, and then they pick up tomorrow and leave. And then you're stuck with the president that you didn't want because a bunch of people that are not from this country went back home.
Hmm. My
See what I'm
husband
saying?
finally became a citizen a couple of years ago. He was dual citizen with being
British.
British
Okay.
also.
Let me tell you, Great Britain does not kid around about their green cards. If you're over there on like a work visa and you lose your job and don't get another one immediately, you're out of there. They
Oh,
don't even
really?
play. Yes, ma'am.
What about if you marry
Here,
someone? Like if you marry someone and you don't have to work? Like a woman goes over there and she marries some guy that's got a job. Do they still kick you out? Or do you have to have
no,
a
no,
job?
no, but you need to become a citizen. I think if you don't work on that pretty quickly, you're kind of out of there.
Hmm. You know, knew that. Bay Beauty, he is a brave young man, and I tip my hat to him. It appears that many of the younger generations have been brainwashed by the drain
Oh,
liberal agenda run media. It's a shame.
Heather, absolutely.
You know, it may sound crazy, but I'm really upset. I gotta take my dog to the vet. She's been vomiting for 2 days. Oh, I'm so sorry. I just hope
Prayers for
it's
that
not too
baby.
bad. Yes, very big prayers. She's okay, Heather.
Absolutely, Heather. And in this little chat world right here, where those are our babies, our
Yeah.
fur babies.
hmm I miss mine
Green
every
beans.
day.
I've never heard of that, LaDonna.
What?
Giving them green beans to help with
Have you
vomiting.
tried? Oh, I did not know that. Sometimes if you Google stuff, you'll learn a lot of things. Like,
Right?
yeah, like there's this guy that has this book out. It's like homemade like remedies for different ailments, and some of the one of the chapters in his book is all about dogs. And one of the things about fleas was, I think he said, cut an orange in half and rub it on your dog's fur, and it'll
Hmm.
kill the fleas. Maybe it was a lemon. I'm not sure. That was something like that.
Absolutely, Samara. Please let us know, Heather, what the vet says.
Right.
Good morning, Kevin. And yes, LaDonna, congrats to your husband. That is a tough process. I wonder how many citizens that have like born and raised in the United States could actually
Thank
pass
you,
that
Jenna.
test because
Sending
it's not
prayers to Heather's
easy.
puppy today. Yes. Let's all send prayers to her pups.
Don't rub acidic fruits on your dog. Okay. I didn't know.
Oh no,
Morning,
I'm just
Belly
saying
Bets.
that's like yeah, that's what one of the remedies was for fleas. I think he said cut an orange in half and rub it on the dog. And it would kill the fleas or maybe
Where
makes
is
it some
Tracy when we need her? She's like, isn't she like the home remedy guru for pets?
that she might. I might be wrong. Don't take my word for it. It was on like some channel. Like I might be saying the wrong thing. Hey Bailey. Bailey still hasn't answered me in Hangouts. I'm thinking she's ignoring me.
Oh, are you in
Who would
trouble?
do that? Who would do that? Such a thing. No, I'm just kidding.
The puppy.
I'm
Yeah,
wondering
some
how
babies are sick.
can you guys all send up like prayers for Simon? I haven't heard from him in
I
a
know.
while, and I'm kind of missing him.
Yep.
Hopefully he's okay.
It keeps
Not
asking
ignoring
for her
Carla.
billing and hangouts. I remember her
Not
saying that
ignoring Carla.
yesterday.
It's so weird. It keeps asking for my billing. I don't think you have to pay for Hangouts. I've never paid for Hangouts. Have you ever paid for Hangouts? I've never paid for
No.
it. I've never paid for it. Thank you, Mandy. I enjoy listening to y'all. This is great.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's totally free. I don't know why I would ask you. I wouldn't. I would completely delete it and then put it back up.
That is so
Or yeah,
crazy.
because it never asked me for billing information ever. I'm gonna
Thank you,
send you a
Amanda.
screenshot. It's so frustrating. I agree. Maybe use like maybe completely delete it and then use a different email address or something. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. I've never had that come up on my when I've gone on it. If your dog has fleas, order a Seresto collar, $50
Yeah,
for 8 months of treatment. Way cheaper than Frontline and works better.
it's supposed to be completely amazing. Although, who's
Bay
oh
Beauty, I
Eagles?
believe I've said it before and I'll say it again. You're truly a great mama.
Yep. I agree.
Lucky to have you as mom. Yes, definitely.
Smells
Um,
so minty.
that's a scam, Carla. Smoky P is right. Hangouts is free. Exactly. I'm like I said it. I've never. Someone's trying to scam her out of money. I would not give them nothing. Hey, Moonless Dog. I'm from Pakistan, guys, and I love you. Oh,
Well,
thank you.
welcome. Where's
Yes.
Pakistan?
I think
Smoky. You silly
come
man.
on. Seriously.
Yeah, the
Get
collars are
addicted.
supposed to be really, really good. They sell them at my vet. I didn't do it because my
I
Chesapeake
swear by those
would eat
calls.
everybody's collars. She's it's like a collarless chick, or was. Mm.
Oh, really? Hmm.
Hmm. Oh, he said where in Pakistan? I thought he said where is
Oh, where
Pakistan?
I thought he said that too.
Oh, like you silly.
We're at in Pakistan. Yeah. I'm playing
Yeah.
catch up. Would love to order a hat, Carla. You need to put up a page to sell it. People tell me that all the time. Yeah, people tell me that.
Okay.
Oh, you should sell those. You should put it on Etsy. I don't even know what Etsy is, to be honest. I know
So
it's a
what?
place where you sell things.
What, the flea collars or your stuff?
What? My
You said you should sell it on
Etsy.
Etsy?
Etsy. I don't even know what it is. People tell me I should
Oh,
put my stuff on Etsy and sell it, and I've
you know
never.
what? After we
I don't
finish
know
this
what.
live, we'll go look at it, okay? Me and you.
Okay.
She had a nasal
Oh,
tumor, but she got
yeah.
better. She gets choked like she's got sleep apnea. Oh,
Oh, you know what? That's happened to me. That's
oh,
happened to me,
Heather.
Bailey. Close the whole thing down. Close it. Are you on an iPhone? Because it happened to me on my iPhone. Close the whole thing down, restart your phone, go back, close everything down on your phone, and try and bring it up again. That happened to me. Don't delete it yet, because if you're on an iPhone, that happened to me.
Serendipity wants a hat from you, Carla.
Oh yeah, serendipity. And Sarah, I owe you a pair of slippers too. I'm going to make you, especially make you a pair of slippers. And I'm going to make it out of, um, where is this stuff? Oh, it's not
Oh,
here.
congratulations,
But I'm
man.
going to make it, I'm going to make nice warm slippers for you. You just got to tell me what size your feet are. Because I just know, I just have to know what size your feet are. Because I can make a pair of slippers in like a couple hours. I'm a really good, not pattern video that I follow.
She
You
hurt
could
her
sell
foot the
them
other
on a
day.
live stream sale too. Use PayPal to accept payment.
Oh,
Do a live show showing
Heather,
each
that's
of them.
interesting. She said that she's drinking water. Um, it was
It's
clear because she
yellow.
was drinking water. Now it's yellow because her stomach's empty. Eyes are fine, but she hurt her foot the other day, and she thought it was maybe a bee sting or a snake bite. Ooh.
Oh, I would. Oh, she definitely has to go to the vet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh goodness, that's so. Oh goodness.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Carla. Mandy's idea. Could sell them
Yeah,
on
I
a live
saw that.
stream.
I
Mm-hmm.
don't want people to call me a beggar. That's
You're
what I'm
not a beggar.
scared of. They're gonna say
You're doing
she's
work.
going on there to make money.
Well, yeah, you are because you're actually performing an art and you're selling your art. I will say this: the other day, actually, I think it was yesterday, day before yesterday, in the evening. There's a big thing about some creators playing some music. Okay,
Hmm.
clearly not. I mean,
Hmm.
it's commercial music, right?
Right.
And
Hmm.
some creator who is terribly brilliant said, "Well, I don't know why they would do that. I don't know what the big deal is." Okay, sweet cheeks. For the people in the back, meaning her, um, music is art. People sit and spend a lot of time and creativity creating lyrics and melodies for music, for the pleasure of the rest of us who are not gifted in that way to enjoy. Therefore, they have their art copyrighted so that when people enjoy it, they want to buy it, they can purchase it. When people are on, oh, I don't know, YouTube playing it for free, there are a lot of people who are getting ripped off. Therefore, they take that music down. Now, I understand there's some that they say is copyright free, that you can use it, and then they still take it down. But, YouTube's crazy. But for the stuff that is copyrighted, understand that's like you're walking in the store and picking up a Picasso for free. That's art, and they deserve to be paid for it. So if you have a problem with that, you should check yourself. Okay, I'm moving on.
Okay, so I'm going to show my slippers. I
Show your
don't really,
slippers.
yeah. So
And I
these
would
ones
not.
like kind of look like sneakers.
Oh my God, those are so cute.
These ones look like sneakers, okay?
Oh
But
my God.
they do. They look like sneakers. But these ones are really, 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 really. I mean, they're ugly right now because I wear them. These are mine, but they're really warm. I don't know how to.
Oh, those are so
So they're really warm,
cute.
but they're warm. But these ones are like these are like sneakers. They look like sneakers. Those are my. I
So
know they look like
stinking
sneakers. I got a
cute.
pair of black and white ones that I wear that look like yeah. Good music takes talent. It's hard work. It is. Oh,
Yeah. There's a lot of people, a
yeah.
lot of my friends are songwriters or artists or musicians.
Hmm.
And when I tell you that when you pay $1 for a song, that may seem like a lot, but you need to understand you're paying for the person who wrote the song or the melody or both.
Morning,
You're
Pixie.
paying for the artist, you're paying for the tour buses or the travel to go on tours. You're paying for bands in the studio and bands on lives. You're paying for a lot of people and their families. So you can imagine over the past, oh God, I'd say, well, things really got bad when the internet popped up and you had Napster and things like that. Um, they're getting the money, not these people who've earned it and who deserve it. So I'm really,
You
really
know,
picky about that. It's my
I
thing.
made I made a jib jab video yesterday, and I got a copyright infringement um thing.
And see, you paid. You
I
paid
did.
to
I
use that.
pay for jib jab. And that's what I don't
So,
understand. Every single time I make a jib jab video and get a
mhm.
copyright strike, not a strike. It's not a strike.
And Jib
It's
Jab takes a portion of that money that you give them
I know.
to
I
turn
don't
around and
get
pay
anything from it
ASCAP or
because
BMI.
I don't monetize my things. Maybe I'm supposed to monetize so all the money goes to
I
them.
mean,
I don't know. I don't know.
ASCAP or
I really
CSAC,
don't know.
sorry.
But I do pay
Beg your
for
pardon.
jib jab. But every single time I pay for a lot of programs, and the music is built into the program, and I still get copyright infringement things. It
Jib
just
Jab. You need to go to go to Carla's
oh jib jab.
community page, and there's Jib Jabs up of several of us that she's done. They're hysterical.
No, I have to give them. I put them on private because I got those messages from YouTube, and I was scared they'd shut my channel down. So I'll give you the link, Brian. You can go. Yeah, you can go watch them. There's some funny ones. There's some. I'm like, I thought they were cute, and they don't even play the whole song. They just play part of the song. So what's the? Is that a
I
bell I
don't
hear?
know. Yeah, I don't know where it's coming from. Who knows?
My ghost ringing a bell saying it's breakfast. I heard a bell. I heard a bell. Did
Oh, I
you?
know. I heard it too. Yeah, it's coming from me. I'm sure it's
That's
from
not my.
somewhere.
It's not my imagination. Good morning, Ada. Good morning, Jenny. So yeah, maybe I'll make a couple pairs of these slippers and I'll put it in, and
Hey, Ada.
it takes a certain kind of it's certain kind of material or what do you call it? Yarn to make these. So, but they're my little sneaker slippers.
Those are so cute.
I know they are. They are. But this part here the lace part. That's
Yeah.
really a bitch to do. Let me
Is
tell
it
you.
really?
That's a bitch to do. That's like the hardest part of the whole freaking slipper is the laces.
Paperboy bell.
It's the paper boy bell, $2. Oh, the paper boy bell. I don't have a paper boy. Every bit of news that I get is from the
Yeah, the Pettit murders. That's
I want my
the
$2.
Connecticut murders.
Brian. I want a pink pair for my teen daughter.
You want
See,
your two
the only
daughters?
thing I need to know is people's size, feet size, because like these fit me, and I'm a size 7, and yeah, my foot's a 6.5, 7. So, but these fit me. They're a little long, but they're a little long. They look a little long, but yeah, everybody loves those. You should have seen my
So,
son when he saw them. He was like, "I want a pair of those slippers."
so on the copyright thing, so it's just telling you that you're not going to be monetized. Jib Jab will get the money instead. Okay. Well, they already got paid. That's what kills me.
Yeah,
They've already been
well,
paid.
I can't remember what it says, but
Do
it's
your homework, YouTube, if you're paying attention.
I don't know. It's because it's robots running YouTube right now, so they're not
It
freaking
is.
paying attention to what it is. It's not a strike. It says it's not a strike. Um, and it says I can dispute it, but it's just too freaking lazy. Like I've been trying to do it. I
I
want a
have to look at it
Swifter
and go through
pad.
and say, I've already paid Jib Jab.
Yeah,
You
Remy, you could have a Swifter.
it sticks.
I've got a bunch of those already made. I think
Okay.
I
It's
think I
really
should
early.
those too.
It's really early in the morning and I'm already sick of YouTube. You got it? Yeah, you to both of
Those
you.
are Swifter pads. Reusable ones. They can be washed.
The littles are being obnoxious today.
The little ones. I like
Hmm.
the other ones, Carlos. Oh, the warm ones. These ones. These ones. Yeah, these ones are warm. These ones are the warm ones. They're really warm. Yeah, I'll have to get this. Like I said, I have not been doing my great documentary on the petite murders that Carla was talking about. To like and sub to Bedbug.
It's the Connecticut that we were talking about,
Oh,
the
okay, the Connecticut. They call.
Cheshire
Oh, their
murders.
name was Petite.
Hmm.
Okay, I didn't know that's what their name was.
I'd forgotten. They said it 100,000 times, but my brain doesn't. It just goes, okay, well, just tell me what happens.
Yeah, I know.
Isn't that awful?
I watched so many true crime, like cold cases and videos. I don't remember. They kind of meld into each other.
They
I
call,
belong.
Carrie said over there, they call slippers bathies. Oh, you should start calling that. Give them their own little European kind of name.
Who said that?
British. Uh,
Daffy's.
Carrie, that's Scotland, right? Or
Yeah,
Ireland?
she's in Scotland.
Okay.
She's in Scotland. Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe that would be cute to call. Here's your Buffy. And these are remember these are worn. These are mine that I wore. They wore them all winter, so they kind of look like. But if I do make them for someone, they're going to look a lot better than that. Hey, Blue Ladybug. Hi, Brian. Missed ya. Glad you're back around. It's been around a couple days. Carla, how can I send you photos of the reborns? My email. One of my moderators can post my email in here, and it's in my about section also. So yeah, I would love to see them though.
Yeah,
Precious
we're
so and
gonna.
so.
Me and LaDonna are gonna raid your trunks. Yep.
I've got so much in there. I gotta go and see what's all in there because I have like so much stuff in there. Make sure she gets to the vet. Yes. Make sure she gets to the vet. Especially if it was a snake bite. That's kind of scary. I call the petite murders specifically because of the fact that the father got away and how the police stood down even though they could hear the children.
Jenna needs a link so she can place her order. I'm kidding.
Oh.
She wants the pink hat. She wants that pink hat you put on.
Oh, this one?
Hmm.
This one.
So
One with the little
cute.
flower.
Yes,
Little flower.
I
Okay,
love
Jenna.
it.
Well, you can give me a place to send it where I haven't been to the I used to go to the post office all the time. Now I don't go there anymore, but I will.
That's Carla's email.
Yeah, I
Jenna
know. Just
posted.
don't comment much. Not a morning person. Oh, that's perfectly all right, Blue Ladybug.
Hey, Blue Ladybug.
That's okay. So yeah, maybe I will. Maybe that was a good idea that Mandy had, like doing it. But I do before I do that, I want to do a members only giveaway. Um, and I will put like things into a bag, and that will be with a an Amazon gift card will be my giveaway.
That's going to be so
I
cool.
think I think that that is a nice, perk. They say that you got to make your own perk, so that'll be a perk. And trust me, I would not give anything to anybody that I would not be proud of, showing anybody. So
I just
there's
think it's
that.
nice when you can offer something that's so personable,
Yeah.
that you
Mhm.
made yourself.
Yeah.
We're glad you're here, Blue Ladybug.
Yes, we are. Hi, Carla. Yeah, I know. Just don't comment much. Yeah. Yeah, we are glad. I'm way behind. I gotta watch I'm always here and enjoy. Thank you.
Come
I'm
here and lay down.
so
I'm going to
I'm
feed you in a
so
little
pleased
bit.
that you are talking today. You are speaking. That's
Come up here and lay down. Be
oh
still and be quiet.
yeah. Yeah, for whoever wanted to send me pictures, I'm gonna just posted my email so you can like send the pictures there. And I will be sure to I have been actually been really good lately for checking my email. Although I have 20,990 unread emails. Oh, that's terrible. But keep in mind that some of those emails are notifications because all my notifications go into my email.
Oh,
So,
that's annoying, isn't it?
oh,
That they
and then
they
you don't
ought to give an
when you
option to say I don't want my email alerted, but I do want.
exactly. Hmm.
But no, they're too worried about demonetizing everyone.
Oh, good
Yeah, I
Lord.
said that, YouTube. You heard it right here. Misdemeanor. I said it.
Oh, well, I got an email, not an email, but a warning when I went to monetize my video saying, you better fill out the whole form because we noticed that you're not doing it right. So I was just going like
I'm surprised they didn't send you alerts
clicking
that
one thing.
misdemeanor cusses a lot.
No, you're allowed to, as long as it's like it's not every second word. I mean, you're allowed to say, there is, because it still can be monetized because I marked it right. I marked that we do cuss on here and we do talk about like sexual things on here. So I was very honest. We don't talk about we're not hateful. So I did not click that. We're not a hateful channel. So I refuse to click that.
No, Remy, they didn't take her to the bank first. They got into the house at like 4 o'clock in the morning. And one of the young guy stayed there. The older guy went to go buy gasoline because he was planning on burning up the house. And
Mhm.
then when he got back to the house, he then left because it was time to go to the bank. He got the mom, took her to the bank, then he came back. The one guy stayed at the house the whole time. And they watched the one guy and the mom walk back into the house. They were outside that house when they came back. They heard one of the daughters screaming as she was burning up in the house.
It's a, it's just a horrific case.
It's awful. God. I mean, no,
It'll
don't,
give you
don't get me
nightmares.
wrong. If I were the cops standing outside the house and this was not the norm in our neighborhoods that I worked in, I don't know what I would have done either. And their protocol said to wait. I'm not sure what their protocol said, but not to go in the house. So they didn't.
I don't know. Hey, Tucker, how are you? How are you this morning? Yeah, that's. I don't know.
That's sweet, Blue Ladybug. We try really hard to make it a safe place where people can comment.
Mm-hmm. Jenna, is that the real Jenna?
Huh?
Jenna, is that you? It says authenticated by YouTube.
Oh, she's coming.
I hope it's her. Jenna, is that
La
you?
la.
Hey, Jenna.
Hey, Tucker.
Jenna.
Good morning, Jenna Moon.
I like that moon. Are you there?
Morning. Sorry, it takes a few minutes for it to kick on my phone. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Because like when I come on StreamYards from my phone for some reason, I can hear you guys saying hi and everything, but it won't let me talk. Like I'll unmute and it will mute me. And it's like for it to load. And then once it's loaded, then it lets me unmute.
Right.
Oh, congratulations, Tucker. 1 year
No, I
biopsy
was just
yesterday.
curious, what case were you guys talking about?
The Pettit case. It happened in Cheshire, Connecticut.
Oh, I'm close to Connecticut.
It was like in 2008, I think it was 2008. And the cases, of course, it took them a couple of years to get them underway. So yeah, it's one worth looking up.
Oh my goodness. It's so horrible.
Oh, Melinda. Her brother called her Meander all of her life. Meander? Meander?
See, Jenna, this is another one that I made. Oh, wait. I'm going to turn my camera on. It's got, wait a minute.
I love all your stuff.
It's got like a hole in the top so you could put your, it's called messy bun hats, you know?
Yeah. My mom actually made them for my daughter because my mom does what you do. My mom crochets.
I learned everything on YouTube, like everything.
Yeah. My mom has crocheted the trolls, the little
really
things. She's made
the hat
where the hair sticks out, and she put like flowers all in them. She's done the Elsa hat. It's the hat, and then it's got Elsa's long blonde hair. She's done Minnie Mouse and Mickey Mouse, and she's done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's all out of crocheting like you.
Yeah.
You guys are so talented. I can't do it.
I'm not talented. I learned everything on YouTube. I just learned it by watching YouTube videos. But they're right.
I tell my mom all the time she should sell them. I tell her all the time because she makes them for like my cousins and stuff that have little girls. She makes them and sends them to Michigan because they live in Michigan. So she makes them all for them in Michigan and stuff. And I'm like, Mom, you should really sell them. And
that's what people tell me all the time. It's like I always learn different things. Like I've crocheted baskets, I've crocheted, just everything you can imagine. Like, the things to hold your plastic bags. I've crocheted. I've got a bunch of those already made. I've got a whole my dresser upstairs is full of crocheted items
too, Remy.
She made my tree skirt for my Christmas tree.
I've never done that.
Yep, she did a tree skirt.
I did a lot of
she
crocheted ornaments. Crocheted ornaments with you use the ring around the milk, the plastic ring, and it makes like a wreath.
Oh yeah,
I made those. It's all stuff I've learned on YouTube. It's like I want to get one of those market bags, and I want to put a bunch of different crocheted items in it, and a gift card, and that'll be my members giveaway. I think
my mom made my aunt one year a tree skirt, and I'm telling you, it was green and red, and it had balls on it. Cute tree skirt. But my aunt thought it was a poncho. So she put it on and she was wearing it. And my mom is like, why are you wearing that? She's like, you made me this cute poncho. She's like, don't lie.
Oh,
poncho.
I made Christmas
Or
stockings too. Christmas
it's just
stockings with boy, did those things stretch too. Can you get the freaking gifts and those things for the kids? I made it for all 10 of my grandkids. All 10.
Tucker, that's crazy. He said not to change
Not
the
to change
subject,
the
but he spent
subject,
an
but
entire day.
in the hospital, and it was eerily empty. The halls and beds were like a ghost town. Go figure. Oh, really?
Oh, I thought they were chock-a-block, wall to wall COVID people.
People.
somebody I
Wow.
watch on YouTube. They just had their baby yesterday. They actually went into labor and stuff, and they were talking. It was so eerily quiet. Like they had to get to the hospital, and instead of just walking through the doors, they literally had to call the front desk to say she was in labor. Then they came and got them, and they had to have their mask on, gloves on, everything. She's in labor. They're trying to get her upstairs, but they said there wasn't a soul anywhere. It was the weird.
Wow.
And
Hmm.
she's
That is
sad
weird.
because she has other kids and they're not able to come to the hospital. And her mother lives in town. She can't come to the hospital. It was only her and her husband almost wasn't allowed. But they ended up lifting that so she could have her husband in the delivery room. Can you imagine going into labor
Oh,
Nope.
and not
no
having
idea.
your husband there or your boyfriend there to give birth to your child? I I I wouldn't be
It
able.
would it would be a terms of endearment reenactment for me. I'd be screaming
Mhm.
at people. Samara,
Yeah,
I'm not sure if they went after the PD civilly. I'm not sure if they didn't ever. I'd have to look that up. But that's a good question. And yes, True Helper, you are so freaking amazing. It's just not even funny.
it's like at my doctor's office, like lately, we've been doing doctor visits online, kind of like what Carla said the other day, how her doctor does visits online. Well, I had to go get blood work. I thought it was the weirdest thing. They literally did my blood work outside in my car. I didn't even think you
That's
can legit
no.
do that.
I don't think that's very sanitary, do
I
you?
don't either. But I mean, they came out and they were completely gowned up. They had the gloves on. They had like a table thing. So I opened up my door. They set like this table thing in, and everything was in packages and everything. They had me stretch out my arm on that table. They opened up everything, and that's how they did my blood work. They wouldn't even let me in the doctor's office. I thought it was the weirdest thing. I was literally sitting in my car with the door open.
I would
And
freak out.
that's how they did my blood work. They drew blood from it. It was weird.
Hey,
Oh
Tucker.
my God.
Hey,
That's
Tucker.
insane.
Isn't that? I didn't think that was legal.
Hey,
That was
Larry.
my thought.
I kind of wonder about that too. For first of all, they're not providing for your privacy, are they? Or dignity? Number one.
She
Number
had a
two, you're outside.
cool.
What if a bug would have landed on?
exactly. It was so weird. Like it was a table and they had everything like everything was closed. So they
Right.
opened things as they were using them. And I mean, she only grew one vial of blood, but I still thought it was weird. I even asked, isn't it, why can't I come in? Like have one person come in to draw blood. She's like, we're not letting anybody in the office. It was weird. I don't know. It was weird.
Morning,
That's
Tucker.
strange.
Morning.
Good
Yeah.
morning, Tom.
Morning, guys. It's
Hi.
it's the weirdest thing. I know that COVID exists. I know it does. Okay. But let me try and paint you a picture because I have done it so often that like it's burnt in my mind. This is the process. This is a huge hospital. It's almost like a city. Like that's how big this property is. And any other time pre-COVID, this place was packed to the brim. You go in the front door, or it's not even emergency. You go in the front door, and on the right is where you go and you actually register. Like if you're having this checkup done or that checkup done or whatever the case may be. And they literally have one of those tag things where you take a number.
Mm-hmm.
That's how busy it is. You take a number, then you go when they call your number. You go up to the wicket or the window. They have 3 of them, and they run your number and say, oh, okay, well, you got to be on this floor and whatever the case may be, and they give you your paperwork, and then you head on up. You head on up to the floor that you're going to. There's another lobby, and the place is packed to the wall with chairs, with people sitting there waiting for whatever it is, heart, lungs, ass, nose, whatever. And there's 3 wickets again that you go and you give them your paperwork, and then they give you another number and they call you. This place is literally standing room only. So, and then you go in and do your thing. So anyways, yesterday when I showed up, I walked through the door and there's like nobody except for a glass in the front where they say, have you been out of town or whatever? They take your temperature. I go directly over to registration. No lineup, nothing. No chairs, and no one even standing or sitting. So I give them my paperwork. I go up to one floor to get my blood taken. And I used to do this daily. I used to have my blood drawn daily. They also had a number system where you take a number and you would go and sit and wait. That's how many people they had to just take your blood, right? I walk up there. I walk right in to where they take the blood, and they've got like these, they're expensive medical chairs that you sit back and they take your blood. Nobody's in there, just me. Wow. So I'm in and out of there in like seconds. They take my blood. So then I go on up to where my appointment is, which is also always crowded. Not one person is in there, and the chairs that line the perimeter of the room, they took out 2/3 of them. So there's like 4 chairs where there used to be 30. You know what I mean? And I sit down and boom, I'm in. They're doing my biopsy. So they put me in this other room where you wait and you just sit and wait in a bed. And no one's even there. Like the nurses are literally just sitting around chit-chatting, and you could tell the quietness of it. I'm going, man, isn't this place supposed to be like packed? Like, you know what I mean? You see on TV, because I haven't been for a long time, to the hospital for something like this. And it was weird. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, it was so weird that I was aware of it right away.
I heard the dentist is something like that too. You have to phone ahead of time, and before you go in, I guess they're just having one person in the waiting room, or so many people in the waiting room at a time. And I don't know. I haven't been to the dentist since all this started.
There literally wasn't.
I'm going to jump there. Thank you for having me up. I just wanted to say that.
Jenna. Thanks for coming up.
I really want to. But yes, and misdemeanor, I'm sitting here painting while I'm listening.
I'm so jealous. Stop.
You're getting your stuff today. You're getting your stuff today.
I can't wait.
She won't be typing to me.
I secretly like Jenna Moon's channel too. When she does a hangout, I'm there too.
Thank you, Tucker. But everybody, I'm going to be in the chat listening.
Okay, honey.
Bye.
Thanks for coming up.
I keep hearing about how all the ICUs are jam-packed. There's no room in any ICUs. They've got all these extra ventilators now, apparently. I'm wondering why they're not converting more rooms off the ICU into ICU rooms, which could be done, not a problem. But none of it's making sense to me. And it just gets scarier every day.
This place, which is normally like a mecca for everything, was literally empty. And
I'm wondering, where are all these people that are sick?
I don't know.
And what are they doing?
I
Are
don't
they
know.
just doing like phone consultations or what? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, I mean,
kind of
yeah, I
weird.
mean, I don't even, I don't see, I don't know. I was only there for my own thing, right?
Right.
And, but I mean, I traveled hallways because I get some bored sitting around waiting. And, yeah, the floors were just like a ghost
Well,
town.
did you have to
Yeah.
make an appointment before you went? So they knew you
Oh
were
yeah,
coming, right?
this was a scheduled appointment and, like months in advance.
And it was like a ghost town.
Yeah. And I asked him, I said, where's all the people?
Yeah.
Like,
Staff.
yeah, and the staff, and where's all the sick people? Like even the ward that I go into, it's for people to go for biopsies for your liver and your
Hmm.
lungs and stuff like that.
Right.
I was like literally the only one there.
Well, that's weird.
Yeah. So I don't know if they're deferring visits or uh I don't know. I don't know what to say. I just not even trying to suggest anything. I'm just going, that was my
Your experience.
experience.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's different in
Remy,
Canada than it is here.
what,
'Cause it
what do you
seems
mean?
like, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's like well, now they've ruled that the rule is one person per family can go and visit a patient in the hospital. Before you couldn't go in. Before it was like no one could go in except the patient. You know what I mean?
Um,
Well, now you can
yeah,
have one.
the one that I go to, it was like aside from that thing, the glass where you enter,
Uh-huh.
and asking you questions. Aside from that, was kind of business as usual.
And True Helper says it's all a BS lie perpetrated by those in power. Of course, people are sick, but with 35.5 million sick last year alone, this COVID-19 pales when the real numbers are factored into the equation. It's disgusting.
Thanks, thanks,
I
Benjamin.
really don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it was just I just telling you that was my experience, and it was the weirdest thing. I'm thinking, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna be standing around waiting it for forever for
Mhm.
anything, and that
Like
was
the usual appointments.
yeah, and that's not what happened. That's not what happened at all. It was and this, like I'm telling you, this ain't no small town uh hospital. They
Right,
do everything there,
right.
and it was really weird. It was really weird. So,
I'm so glad that I've been like
I'm
really
sorry.
healthy.
I'm feeding my dogs, so I'm muted.
Oh,
like even from an emergency point of view, when you go to a city
right.
center hospital, that's all you
Hmm.
hear are ambulances
Hmm.
and helicopters.
Right.
None of that. Like none. No
Well,
siren.
if you go to emergency too, it's always packed full and it takes forever. Like sometimes you sit in a waiting room for like 3 and 4 hours.
Yeah.
Now I guess it's a little different. Nobody goes unless it's
Yeah. I
absolutely.
yeah. And I'm not suggesting that the COVID or anything like that. I'm just saying that
Um,
it was just weird. Frenchie says, Tucker, in your case, they should be even more diligent for your well-being. You can get a virus easier. Yeah, we had that. We had a very long conversation about that.
yeah,
After,
what did they say about what precautions you need to take for
well, they
yourself
what
and
what
your well-being?
Don't breathe.
yeah
Yeah,
Don't
don't
touch
breathe.
anything.
yeah
Don't use those stupid masks because they don't work.
No.
it literally was the roll call, and then what they did was, I'll try and explain because I don't fully understand it, but they go through my neck and to get a piece of my heart on one side. Then they went through my wrist to get a piece of another side. Then they went through my groin to get the bottom or something
Yeah.
of my heart again. This is all while I'm awake. Okay. And Oh my God, today I think that I feel like somebody beat the living shit right out of me. And then they said, based on your blood and based on what we see, everything's a-okay. No need to adjust anything. You're doing fine. And I said, well, okay, well that's great news. Okay, let's talk about cancer. I'm going, what?
Shall we not?
What are you talking about? And then they go, well, given your age, you got that. What do you call it? Everybody has that, or men, anyways.
Prostate?
Yeah, that's it. And skin cancer. And they listed off all these things that have been documented that are you could get as a result of the drugs that you and or are not taking. And I just sat there with my mouth open, going, "What? You give me good news, and now we're talking about this." And it was just weird. It was surreal. It was surreal. And I'm a big guy. I know that COVID exists. My wife is schizo over this stuff. Like, she really is.
Yeah.
And
Well, and I can appreciate that with your comorbidities
yeah,
and pre-existings. I mean, my God, I would be frantic too. However, having said that, and I agree with you and True Helper, yeah, the virus is real. Absolutely. But it is politicized to an extreme where they're now manipulating our everyday lives for those of us who are not at risk and who don't have it. It's really pissing me off,
well,
to
I
say
mean,
the
they
least.
they read me the riot act of what I shouldn't be doing anyways, right? Don't go
Mhm.
into public pools, don't go into public gyms, or just ordinary stuff. Uh,
Yep.
washy all the time. Don't do this, and don't go out in the sun. And I love the sun. I used to be a sun when I was younger, man.
Mhm.
I used to be a sun worshiper. I love being outside in the sun.
Right?
And just they read me that riot act, but it I think that everybody they have it's almost like fear mongering.
It is because,
Like,
okay, let's take melanoma for example, because I was a sun worshiper too. Okay,
yeah,
did baby oil, the whole 9 yards. I've never developed melanoma, but let's just play like for a second that back in the melanoma craze when they were finding a lot of it and
yeah,
they were doing the whole ozone has a hole in it and you run the risk of getting cancer even more now. So it spread to a lot of different areas other than just melanoma, right?
yeah.
It went into the whole destruction of the environment, yada, yada, yada. Okay. What if back then they made us all start wearing burqas if we even went outside, where every inch of your skin was covered, and we were still doing that today?
Um,
Would that not be a little bit over the top? I mean, just because people were legit getting it,
I tell
but
you,
then a
I,
lot weren't.
it I used to think that way. I used to be one of those people in the crowd, secretly uh, talking shit about everything.
Yeah.
But I mean, these days, I mean, we just got this thing yesterday. You talk about the government. We just got the law slapped down on us that we're not allowed to. Our passengers are not allowed to have a cell phone in their hand while they're driving in the car. They don't get fined. I will get fined $1,500. This is for a passenger.
That's
So
ridiculous.
you soccer moms that are driving down the highway in your
Kids are on tablets.
van, yeah, and the kids are in the back seat of which you can't see half the time, are on their cell phones and tablets and Game Boys, and like I'm going, what the hell? Like $1,500? That's one hell of a fine. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
So,
I really think that we're being managed because of a virus that it is real. I don't know that it's any more severe than SARS, which it is SARS, H1N1, RSV. Remember when the kids were all getting RSV?
yeah.
They were in the hospital and they were getting these hellaciously expensive treatments twice a day. They were
Yeah.
living in tents. I remember this, all of this. I was a nurse.
Well, does anybody have
But we
Mr.
did not
Energy?
have the same hysteria that we have with this virus, which to me, in my opinion,
Yeah.
is no worse than any of the others. And if it is, then you're telling me that it is as bad as TB, but you're not going to treat it that way.
Well, do you know anybody directly that you can say, my auntie, my grandma, whatever, grandpa, or whatever, or neighbor, or something like that, died as a direct result of that?
Nope. Nope. Not one person.
Yeah, me either.
Not friend, not relative. I can tell you that I, to this day, believe that I had it.
Yeah.
I had every sign and symptom. I did not go to the hospital. I slept next to my husband every night. He never got one sign or symptom. Not one.
Yeah.
And we were not wearing masks.
The only person that I know is my friend Trish. Her father-in-law passed away as a result of that was the cause of death. But I mean, he was an older fellow too, right?
Right.
Like he was
probably had 17 different comorbidities,
Yeah. But that's all. Aside from that, I don't know but anyone directly, like in my family.
He says I know quite a few that died from it.
Yeah.
That they were absolutely healthy before they got it. They got COVID and died.
Yes, it's the weirdest thing about that. I just found it interesting that was my experience to something that I've done dozens of times. And I mean, and this time only is the only time I ever walked in there, and in the place you could throw a bowling ball down the hallways and not even hit anything. It was weird. And I'm going, you would think this place is packed as per the news. Right?
Yep. And it's constant.
Yeah, like as per the media. As per the media. Don't have enough beds. Don't have enough of this. Don't have enough of that. Nurses working 24-hour shifts,
And I don't think people are listening to me flying over in planes anymore like I used to think. But because I think they were. But at this point, in my mind, in my head, what I see on television every day, we're now at the level of like state-sponsored terrorism because they're terrorizing us. It's fear-mongering, like you said. It's to a point where it's constant. It's driven into your head.
Yeah.
Don't be around other people. Wear a mask. Wash your hands. We've been telling people forever to wash their hands. Why is this now a big thing? Come on.
Hell, man! When I was a little kid, what did your mama say?
Wash your hands.
Before dinner, right? Did you wash your hands? Or you're on your way to sleep or whatever. Did you wash your hands, brush your teeth?
Ada, I believe that they are. I believe that there are people that are dying from COVID complication, or let's say you have heart disease. Perfect example, Tucker. You've got heart disease. So you already have this pre-existing condition that could kill you. You get COVID. It makes your heart disease worse. You die. Your actual, on your death certificate should read heart disease exacerbated by COVID. Okay. But you're not dying of COVID. You're dying of heart disease, which was made worse by COVID. Yes. But any other virus would have probably made your heart disease enough to kill you. You follow me?
Yeah, it's kind of like having suffering from lung disease or something like that, and then as a secondary result, you get pneumonia, and you die from pneumonia, but that wasn't the cause of it. It was your lung problem, but pneumonia was the cause of death. Well,
I'm not saying that I don't believe in COVID. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm saying that it can, this to the chat, I'm saying that it can kill people. Absolutely. You can be absolutely healthy and die of it. There's no doubt in my mind. The same thing with every other flu that we've had.
Like we had this conversation before. When I was a kid, I can remember AIDS passing by like it was just something you heard on the news, but never changed my life at all. Well, there weren't droves of people in hospitals and stuff like that. What was the other one? H1N1? Ebola? It was another one. SARS. Remember SARS?
Oh yeah, I
Um,
was working during SARS
yeah,
and
I don't remember.
H1N1.
I don't remember anything going on with those things. Do you?
We did monitor because I was at long-term care, so our population was at risk, and
Yeah.
we did ask that the visitors curb their visiting, not come as frequently or whatever, but we didn't prevent them from coming at all. And we did, I think a questionnaire, and we did temperatures when they came in. That was it. There were no masks, no gloves, none of all this stuff, no bubbles that you had to put on. And we did not lock down facilities. We did not
Yeah.
not send out our patients. Literally at the nursing home where my mother works today, those patients are not allowed to leave their own rooms.
Wow.
Is that not insane?
Yeah.
I mean, and you can imagine these little people they've taken every single bit of control that they have in their life just about away from them. And now you're going to take their ability to get out and visit with their co-residents.
Yeah.
Because, the little ladies get together, they play cards, things like
Oh,
that.
sure, yeah.
They can't now. It's horrible. And I don't understand. You're not allowing anyone to come in. The staff has to be tested regularly. They have to take their temperature when they come in. And once they're in the building, they're not allowed to leave until their shift is over.
Yeah.
Well,
I just thought it was weird. I mean, the news that you guys have there in the States is pretty much identical to our own as far as reporting what's going on.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't want to go for this appointment because I even told them I'm going to be standing around in a crowd of people forever. Just, and that's not what happened at all. So maybe they schedule it on purpose like that, maybe.
Yep.
But even the emergency room, the waiting room, like you said, was like eerily empty. Weird. No sirens, no nothing.
Yep. I haven't heard sirens in my town in forever. It's like
I think everything, like we live near an airport. We hardly hear, we used to hear airplanes fly like all the time, every day, all day long.
Yeah.
Now it's just every once in a while we'll hear an airplane go by. It's like, oh, it's so weird because I couldn't sit down outside on my deck. That I wouldn't, one after another would be, especially in the summertime, be coming by.
Right.
And now it's just like every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're staying in business. Well, I wouldn't fly right now. I wouldn't want to be in an airplane,
Oh, me either.
You know what I mean? Like with all those people breathing the same air I'm breathing.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Evelyn.
That is scary.
Yeah, it was. You know what? It's just one more story, one more little experience. Someone said that COVID will magically be over in November.
Yeah, the day after the election.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know, but
well, I've heard different things about that. Like some people think it's going to be around for another 18 months, and some people think it's here to stay.
The new norm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's here to stay.
So
how are we supposed to live our lives? Like in a bubble? That's not going to work either.
Well, it's not even that. How are you supposed to live your life at all? They threw a number out. I think it was Fox News or something like that. Said that there's something like $800 billion owed in rent that hasn't been paid in the United States.
Who's going to pay that? What if you're the person that owns the apartment complex or owns the rental homes and you're just not getting paid and you depend on that?
Yeah.
You're on a fixed income, but that supplements that fixed income. How do you buy your medicine? How do you pay for your food? How do you pay your utilities for your mortgage?
Yeah.
So I see this going really bad really quick. And you're looking at something that is as well, let's just look at it like this. If they're telling us that it's as quote unquote unknown as, let's say, AIDS, because we were talking about AIDS earlier in the chat.
Yeah.
What if during the AIDS epidemic, they forced everybody to stop having sex? First of all, how would you do that? But second of all,
well, yeah, you do it with fear.
Right.
I mean, I tell you what, all that my wife needs to hear is something on the news about such and such and such, and I'm shut down. I tell you, I can tell you that right now.
Right.
Like I'm gone. I'm shut
Not
down.
tonight, dear. The news told me that I'm not allowed to.
Yeah. Business is over,
Yeah,
and
Yep.
I think,
it's closed.
yeah, I think most of you ladies would agree, right? It's just, oh,
Mhm.
sorry, we're wrapping up shop, moving on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
Well,
mean,
we take our chances every day. We go to a store and we take, you know, so we can't live in a bubble completely. You know,
No.
my husband goes out every day. He works, he comes home, he goes to the store. I go to the store. We can pick it up anywhere. Like, but we could worry about it too, 24 hours a day. I'm just living my life. Like, hopefully I don't get it. If I do, we'll deal with it.
Yeah, you just
And, but
living life with a twist. That's all.
I've been doing everything they tell me to do. I've been wearing my mask, but who knows?
hmm
You know, it
Yeah,
could change
Evelyn.
tomorrow.
Well, I mean, all they have to do is introduce another element that, like, it's airborne, and now it's transmitted by, pick one. That's all they got to say, something like that. And you'll always have an element of people that will adhere to that. If somebody said
Mm-hmm.
we found it in oranges, you would see the orange industry plummet,
Becca. Yep. Yep.
right away.
I agree, Frenchie. She said, in my opinion, first thing first, you sort of have to stop to be afraid to be afraid. It's not
Mhm.
healthy mentally and physically.
Right.
Well, I tried. And you know what my doctor told me? He said, stop watching the news so much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just
Yep.
because every time you turn it on, I swear to God, every time I turn hi, Becca. Every time you turn the news on, that's all they talk about is COVID.
Yeah.
And you see these reporters with their masks on, and it's normal to see that. Like, it's not even surprising. Like, 6 months ago, it would have been like, wow, why are they wearing
Well,
that?
from a social point of view, I'll tell you something that also the light bulb went off in my head yesterday. I like to joke around with people, in my everyday life. I'm a, that old useless person that, that's always trying to joke with people. You know what I mean? I'm that guy.
Yeah.
And I was standing at the wicket. I can't even remember what the hell I said. Some smart ass remark or something like that. And it occurred to me that the person listening to me couldn't even see if I was smiling.
Right.
And
Right.
and I in turn couldn't even see if she was entertained by my comment or wanted to stab me in the throat.
Right.
Like, I couldn't tell
Right.
at all.
And I heard someone say last night, she goes, I love to wear lipstick.
Yeah.
But when
What's
I
the
go
point?
out, what's the point? Because I have to wear a mask.
Right.
So it's rubbed off by the time I get anywhere, or I can take it off. So I mean, that's like kind of superficial stuff, but it's just like little things. Like, you can't even, I guess you can smile at someone with your eyes, but it's not like before. You could smile at someone and shake your
Yeah,
head,
like
whatever.
like
Have
you
an
would know
awesome
that
day,
they were
Taco.
joking around with you, or whatever the case may be. And it occurred to me in that moment, like, this person doesn't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know.
Right, eye lurker.
So
Hey, tacos. Y'all have a good day. Just arrived. You have fun in hell.
yeah.
We'll
So
be thinking about you,
Have
tacos.
fun in hell.
Have fun in hell.
That's so
That's,
awesome.
that's where I'm going, in a handbasket one of these days.
And with gasoline panties, you bet.
Jane says European countries are seeing second wave. Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard that. But are we in our second wave? Like, how long does a first wave last? Like,
yeah,
I really
when did
don't even
this one-
understand it enough to know. Are we in the second, or are we in the first still? Or did we ever go out of the first? What the hell is it? I don't know.
I don't know. And I can remember. Do you guys not remember that they said that this was temperature, extreme
Mhm.
heat It was it
Mhm.
actually killed the virus.
Mhm.
Remember when they said that?
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
and we've been getting extreme temperatures this year, like really hot, especially where I
yeah,
am.
like record levels, right?
Yes, record highs here, and our numbers went up. We actually went, up in numbers of the COVID. So
Yeah.
Well, to me, what I've heard about that second wave here in Texas predominantly is that it is less lethal. It's about the same on all other aspects. However, it's more contagious.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well,
Well, what are you guys going to do? Let me ask you another question because I'm contemplating this too. What are you going to do when they come out? Because there's actually remedies. I don't know if they would call them cures, but there are remedies that Canada is developing right now that are almost approved, and in the United States as well, almost approved. Are
what
you
they
guys?
tested on.
yeah,
I don't know.
How were
I'm
those
not even
tested?
comfortable taking it,
I don't
like, because how long have they been testing it? Yeah, and who
Well, I
have
mean,
they been testing on?
Well,
it's
it's
not
like,
true. You're supposed to do like a 20-year
yeah, you'd think.
study or
Mhm.
like a human testing for 20 years. Isn't that how it works? Something like
Yep.
that. So I don't know. Well, now that I've completely ruined your live hangout,
No, no,
the hell out here.
no. I mean, yeah, well, Frenchie's saying, and what if they tell you to do? What if what they tell you to do was not the right thing? Because here after the lockdown, they uh, they're promoting hand washing, that the mask was not mandatory. Now it's the other way around.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I remember back when they told us that hypertension was the only
Yeah.
lethal comorbidity. Okay, well, that one I kind of laughed about. And then they had the one guy who was actually the father of a doctor on one of the predominant news channels who they gave him the malaria medication, and within 24 hours it was completely reversed. But now they're
Hey,
saying,
Amber,
oh, you can't take the
Ginger
malaria
Locks.
medication because it'll give you a heart disease. Okay, well, okay. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of medications out there that can do bad things to you, but people still take them because it helps whatever they need.
Precious so-and-so said, I'm in England. Both my son and daughter-in-law had the virus. And back in the 80s, my uncle contracted AIDS. I helped nurse him. My mom has just called me to tell me they are closing.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm going to be in the side chat. Okay. I'll listen to you from there.
Okay, Tucker.
Okay, babe.
Okay. See you guys.
Thanks for coming up.
Thanks, baby. Bye.
I love Tucker.
Oh, the prime minister in Canada. Yeah.
Anybody else want to come up? You want to come up, Ginger Locks?
Yeah. The school thing, man, that's
Anybody?
I don't understand a lot of the school decisions that they're making. They don't make sense to me.
I don't take nothing. Melinda says.
I've never known an antibiotic to cure a virus, though. That's odd. Read the articles and talk to my doctors. Every doctor that I've spoken to, and there's been about 4.
Okay, Ginger Locks. That's fine.
Have said that they have some serious issues with this whole thing. My personal doctor, I don't know if y'all caught this yesterday. I think I talked about it yesterday. I asked him how he felt about it. He said, he tests a lot of people. He's tested hundreds of people since this started.
Oh,
and companies will send them to him to be tested. They'll test 4 times positive, and then the last time they're negative, they go back to work. But when he turns those test results in, they are counting those 4 positives as 4 individual people.
Jane
not
says
one
now
person.
COVID-19 is the number 5 killer of Americans.
Well, when
Amber says they're saying that a mixture of Z-Pak and a couple other things cures it. No idea.
Well, I'm just saying that the reason why it's the number 5 killer of Americans is because when you test one person 5 times and you count the 4 positives that they test as 4 different people, if that doesn't alarm you, and this is coming from a doctor, this is not me making up shit. It's not coming from fake news. It's coming from a doctor that I spoke to face. Somebody is playing with the numbers. This is not by accident. These are people who've studied statistics. They know how to do research. They know how to compile data, and they're doing it wrong. You need to ask why. That's all I'm saying. Why would somebody do that?
I have no idea.
Because it's showing that 4 people have a virus when only 1
Well,
does.
that's wrong to do that. They should mark it as one person tested by 4 different times.
Good morning, Morningstar.
Does anybody else want to come up? Have you not seen the nurses speaking about this? Well, misdemeanor is a nurse.
No, I was. I'm no longer a nurse.
Okay, you were a nurse. Okay. All right. Semantics.
Yeah, I've seen it, Amber K. I've seen where they've taken brand new kits, not swabbed anything or touched anything with the swabs, packaged them in the kit to send them off, and they've come back twice as positive. And they've not touched a single person. It makes me wonder.
What is that Twitter thing, Samara?
Is that the doctor?
Is that the doctor?
From Nigeria, I think she is. She's gotten a lot of criticism.
That's a woman that is alerting everyone that there is something you can take to cure COVID. God has a plan if you believe.
He sure does, Melinda.
Yeah.
He's the only one I trust about all this at this point. I think that.
Well, I don't know. I don't know about taking anything that they've not tested for an adequate amount of time to give for a virus that we know little to nothing about.
Here's the thing, Samara. She's talking about the malaria medication that they've talked about so much that the government's now come out and said, no, don't take that. It'll kill you for heart disease. Okay. But I'll tell you what the doctors in this country are doing to that woman. They're saying things like she believes that you can get sexually transmitted diseases from sleeping with witches. Now, I don't know if that's true. If it's not, that's a horrible thing to say about one of your colleagues. I know that she is a Christian woman and that she's also a minister. But I know that there are a lot of doctors here in this country that are really wailing at her. Yeah, they're taking her videos down. And that to me is kind of scary. You know, if it's not true, yeah, that's hideous that you would say that about somebody. You know, but if it is true, well, then you gotta wonder, but how do you know if it's true? But yeah, I did. I saw her video. I had several friends send it to me. And then I'm on Facebook, a member or whatever you want to call it, to a doctor out of, he was in Vegas and then he went to San Francisco, I believe, San Diego, one of the 2 places. But anyway, pretty good little doc. I liked a lot of what he was saying. Since COVID's come out, I try to listen to him. I try to make it work in my brain. A lot of things don't that he says. They don't make sense to me. And he is one of the ones that's coming out against this doctor who said this.
Hey, True Helper.
I'm kind of appalled. Hi, True Helper.
Well, hello. Good morning.
What's up?
What
COVID.
isn't up?
Right.
I just had to chime in on this. But, you know, an old poem comes to mind when thinking about everything that's been happening. Remember the 5th of November, gunpowder, treason, and plot. I know of no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. This is one of those situations where the government has our balls in a vice, pardon my French, and I, for one, am sick of it. I am also proud to say that I don't want to out anybody in particular, but
Okay.
a doctor that's a part of our prepper group, actually, they just had a big forum where there was a bunch of doctors all together confirming the good effects of hydroxychloroquine and how wrong others were. For example, you had two of the biggest medical publication resources, aka Lancet and the New England Journal of Medicine,
Yep.
sit back and have to retract their own statements against hydroxychloroquine.
Yep.
Now, if that doesn't start to ring some alarm bells inside of people's heads, then I don't know what would. Let's look at this from let's almost like a childlike type of mindset, okay?
Okay.
Who was really involved in the medical field or in the medical world, or who was medically savvy, so to speak, before all this COVID hit? Because I, for one, can tell you about all of my neighbors would always come to me with questions and all that. And I have never been a doctor nor a nurse or anything like that.
Right.
I was just always a sponge growing up, having a mom as a nurse practitioner and then a supervising RN during her end days. But, so part of what's going on and why there is such a panic is because, in fact, so many were not equipped to know exactly the details of certain types of viruses and how sicknesses work and all that. And for one, we all were raised with the simple fact that sun is a beautiful thing. And obviously you can't be out in it for too long because of UVA, UVB, and even UVC rays, which, it is what it is. But in reference to viruses and anything bad, what was one of the most common sayings? Sun is the cure-all of everything. I mean, if not, why did God put it in the sky?
Right.
But some of the hypocrisy that we also see, and this really shows some of the ignorances upon that some of these medical supposed these authorities try to make themselves appear to be. When the cams are on, everybody's masked up, everything's good to go and all that. But when they think the cameras are off, how exposing it can become. And I reference good old Dr. Fallacy. I meant Dr. Fauci.
Oh, that's not what I call him. It's much worse.
Well, and let's just put it this way. We actually have some within our group that have actually had the unfortunate privilege, I guess, being nice to work with said bonehead. But I'll be nice. Obviously, and don't get me wrong, the man's done some good here and there, obviously. But for what he has partook in is disgusting, to say the least. You're going to sit there and wag your finger at everybody else and even go as far to agree with so many others that somehow these riots and lootings and all that stuff, it's not too likely you'll get COVID for something like that. But God forbid you go to a rally. Tell me, where is the sense in any of that? And that's why I strongly believe everybody needs to live their lives. And let me make a comment about this hydroxychloroquine, okay? Part of also being a sponsor for over 20 years, I have had the privilege of meeting everybody from 8 to 80, blind, crippled, or crazy, and good people, bad people alike. And amongst them, I have met many that are treated for lupus and many other autoimmune disorders. Most of them being on hydroxychloroquine. Well, now, how ironic or just coincidental is it that out of a group of over 75 plus sponsees that we have in our group, not one has been sick? And you know what the common denominator is there? Hydroxychloroquine. All of them have been prescribed for years. And yet again, Lancet and the New England Journal of Medicine had to retract their BS studies and all of that they had put out. Now, these are two of the biggest medical publications in the world. And yet they tried to play us for dumb. And it just goes to show that many have weeded and whittled their way up into certain places of power, which are these SJWs, whatever you want to call them, part of the cancel culture. Do this, do that. If you don't, agree with my political ideology, I'm going to smash you. Well, guess what? We, the silent majority, aren't taking it anymore. And frankly, the best thing that we can do is just to educate others. And with what I'm about to say should really make everybody pause. Anybody that's had a question about this COVID-19, let's be honest, we have to be careful with what we say online now, because the media and social platform censorship is just off the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And that is that 35.5 million people were infected last year alone. 34,500 passed away, and 137 children had the unfortunate ordeal of passing from seasonal viruses and things of that nature. So keep that number in mind. 35.5 million. Now, I haven't been to world meters here now in a few days, but I think it was still around between 12 to 14 million people worldwide. Worldwide. And we're all to run around scared?
Yep.
You think about that.
Yep.
In the United States alone, one last time, 35.5 million last year.
Mm-hmm.
And still under 14 million worldwide. And y'all, please, I urge everybody, do your own due diligence. Don't take what I'm saying as fact, because Lord knows I've been called a conspiracy theorist and everything in between. But anybody that's close to the chest, close to the heart, anybody within our group, we all know what the truth is. And this has been so highly politicized. It is disgusting. And I heard a comment earlier, as I believe I told Carla I'd come up after I got done treating the poll there and all that. But I heard somebody say that they were using this as a tool, and then past November, you wouldn't see it anymore. Well, I tend to agree with something like that. I really do. Now, of course, it'll still be around. But here's another set of numbers that should honestly alarm everybody. Okay, the CDC 2 weeks ago put out a report, and I quote, "We had it wrong by a factor of 10. That means, and now let's do the simplistic math. At that time, there was a little under, I think, 2.5 mil, give or take, countrywide. So if you take that, you times it by 10, you get 25 mil. Now, at that time, it was 139,413, I believe, give or take a few, that were infected. Or had died, excuse me. I'm sorry, that had died. So if you take that number and you divide it into 25 mil, guess what you get? A mortality rate of 0.00417%.
Yep.
Now, when they started out by saying we may see between 2 to 5% mortality, come on, who are you playing for stupid?
Yep.
This is disgusting, y'all. And
have you ever personally known or heard anywhere where a virus is not killed by heat? I'm gonna bring this down to kindergarten level, guys. Seriously, think about this. There is not an antibiotic on the planet. That's the reason why they call them antibiotics, that will kill a virus. What kills a virus? When your body develops a temperature, a fever. And the doctors will tell you, if you have a good doctor, let that fever stay at about 102. Let it stay between 99 to 102. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take, anything for that to bring it down. Let your body have that temperature. That is what kills a virus. 2 weeks ago, it was 115 degree heat index in my state. And our numbers were supposedly going up. Please explain that to me. Somebody is lying, and it's not me.
You are as smart as you are divine, my dear friend, Misdemeanor. Absolutely. You are 100% correct. That is common sense. And we all were raised with that understanding. Sun is the cure-all. It really is. But again, obviously, you can't sit at it for too long. But, I mean, Everybody needs to sit back, take a deep breath, and remember who you are,
Well,
how
here's
you
another
are
one.
as a
They're
parent.
prescribing now vitamin D for this COVID, correct? Vitamin D is not
Exactly.
synthesized in the body unless you get what?
Mhm,
Sunlight. But what are they telling you
mhm.
to do? Stay indoors.
Yep, and
Tell me that makes sense.
I have also heard that the combination of vitamin D, zinc, and any other immune system type of booster, I've heard
Right?
people using elderberry and a bunch of
Yep.
others. And guess what? None of them that I know that have been on it. And believe me, we keep very, very good records. None of them have become sick. But yet, and let me just. I'll propose another thing, and I have to use kind of third person here because I can't really give too much away, as Lord knows, who knows.
I know,
Carla,
right,
you may
LaDonna?
be treading in the blacklist waters here pretty soon because knowing how some of the overlords are, they don't like truth getting out in many ways.
Right. Right.
But we had a group of people who, again, were actually coming down with certain little bugs and all that stuff. And every time one of our docs at the center of it all did a simple prescription of those things that we had already named. And guess what? They recovered relatively fast. And then, for craps and giggles, they went and got a test. Guess what? Half of them tested negative, the other half tested positive. And then guess what? When they went back for a double up, the other half now tested negative, and the other half that tested positive before or tested negative before now were positive. So look, again, I just say there are so many cases that we have been monitoring nonstop since the start of this. Not to mention, I'm so glad that I keep a journal of sorts. Since day one around Pennsylvania, one of the first cases that was recorded was actually up in New York. So of course it got very scary. Everybody, to keep an eye out, this, that, the other. And we have found them changing numbers all the time. Because I tell you one thing, I'm not known to write something down. Beings as part of what I do is solely based in numbers. It's all I do. I remember numbers from my childhood, for crying out loud. So when I write something, I not only double, but I triple check it. And then going back, and then you see some of these numbers now altered. Yes, I say shame on them. Because again, they are trying to use this as a tool. They scared everybody into compliance without ever lifting a finger in force.
Yep.
And that's one of the scariest parts about
Hey,
this.
Christy. Yeah, that's extremely scary to me. And, as far as not telling you to go outside, they're still using the word quarantine.
Yep. Yes, they are.
So to me, and another thing too, in our history, go look back in history, what we've done when there have been serious, well, the one time that we didn't, which is, the Kansas flu, which is also known as the Spanish flu, whatever. They didn't follow those guidelines. Granted, it spread horribly and it shouldn't have. But when they did shut it down, or when they've had things like smallpox or TB, they quarantined that sick person, the sick one, not the healthy ones. Okay, that's another. When you're involved in the medical sciences, there are certain things that there's certain ways that they test things, that they keep their numbers, the way that they document things, observe things. There's just ways you do it and there's ways you don't. For example, you do not take one person and take their 4 positive test results and count them as 4 individual people.
Yep.
That is the biggest no-no ever.
Yep.
Ever in science. That's just something they would laugh you out.
I don't understand why they're doing that, though.
To fake the
to scare
numbers, to
everybody?
keep people, yes, to
To
show that it's a
support their
So
fifth
what's
leading
that
cause
gonna
of
give
death.
them? Like scaring people like half to death. What's that
Well,
giving everybody?
This goes so deep, Carla. Honestly, if you were to actually realize the truth behind it, it very well may put you in some sort of depression or total fear. But that's why we, the people, must speak out. We must contact. And I know a lot of people always say, oh, to hell with government, all blah, 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 blah. But unfortunately, we have to go by the system that is now in place. Y'all, and trust me, I do it every single day, sometimes twice a day, depending on how pissed off I get from time to time. But You can call the White House, and I got all the numbers I got it all, memorized by now. But you can call the comments line at 202-456-1111. You can call the main switchboard at 202-456-1414. You can email the White House at whitehouse.gov/contact. There are also many other social media platforms that you can make contact via Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and believe it or not, somewhere on YouTube, but I haven't quite figured out the YouTube thing yet. But then again, you could also even do the old school snail mail. Of course, 1600 Pennsylvania Ave, Northwest Washington, D.C., 20500. Because trust me, I've wrote more letters than I care to admit to. But I'm an old school dinosaur of sorts. But
well, when they can get you to a point where you believe that only the government has your answers and solutions, that's a dangerous position.
Yes,
to put
it
you
is.
in.
Yes, it is. But if we come out together and we all call BS, the more that people speak out, that's one of the only major weapons that we have. Because otherwise, I mean, look at what most of the left are doing right now. A lot of children that need some dads to go in there and smack the shit up out of some of those kids right now. There's really nothing else that we can do other than you constantly, if you have to, borderline harass the shit out of your congressman or woman. Let them know how you feel, how ticked off, and then simply jot down some notes. Have your bullet points, because Lord knows many in the mainstream, brain drain media have their bullet points and their talking heads all day, every day. So write down some of these facts that we've simply said here today on this live, and then hit them with it. And be like, how stupid do you think we are? If you want to keep serving and you want our vote, you will do your job as
You'll
it is
tell
told.
us
You
the
work for the
truth.
people.
You tell us the truth.
Exactly.
And when you find people fudging numbers, you run them out on rails.
Yes.
You
But this
get people
goes so
in
deep.
there who
This
are
goes so-
honest.
But what are you supposed to believe? Like, I only scream at kids to get off the lawn. That's me. Political.
Tucker, get off my lawn.
So and what are people supposed to believe when they see some different things from different people every day? You know what I mean? Like they're screwing with our minds.
Tuck sounds like me a bit. Lord knows I've hollered at some kids from time to time. But most of them think I'm nuts anyway. So usually they'll be like, "Oh shit, yeah, don't go over there. Don't go over there."
Ask your physicians, ask your family members that are nurses or doctors, ask neighbors or whoever that are people that ask them when you test people, what happens? Where does that information go? Do you get a report back? I mean, you have to, because you're doing this for employers.
Correct? You asked your doctor.
I asked my doctor straight up.
Yes.
What's up? He's absolutely exacerbated. He's like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. He said, do you see me? I'm in my scrubs. I've got a mask on. Okay, but you know that it's not the right kind of mask. I said, absolutely, I know that.
That's another good point.
So we're having this great medical conversation going on. Like, if this is so freaking bad, why are we wearing this piece of crap $2 mask?
Exactly.
Really?
And honestly, it wouldn't protect you anyway, because your eyes are still open. So if you are around somebody that's sick, trust me, if it's aerosolized, you will absorb it through your little peepers. That's just how it fundamentally works. So again, and that's another thing that's really starting to make a big move in many, many different communities. And that is that this mask wearing that some have tried to suggest or mandate upon even children, they are finding out that many are passing out from being deprived of oxygen. And you know what? Well, honestly, I know, Misdemeanor, you would know what happens when you pass out from something like that. Your body doesn't have any type of reflexes at all, versus if you just passed out, typically, usually your arms go out. If you can imagine a fighter getting knocked down or knocked out, you always see him. You see knees get bent or arms go forward or something along those lines. If they got hit in the sweet spot and knocked directly back, something totally different. But the bottom line is, when somebody passes out from being deprived of oxygen, they fall like a sack of potatoes. And when they hit, typically their head always hits so much harder than it would if they just say had like low blood pressure or something, you know, a faint spell of sorts. So they're finding out now there are actually multiple different lawsuits that are against different political leaders that have mandated all this mask wearing crap. Because again, at the end of the day, it really does little to nothing. And honestly, one of the biggest things that I'm worried about with something like this, that we very well may be setting the whole entire population up for something so much worse. When you deprive everybody from being around each other, yes, there is a sort of herd mentality out there. There's a herd exposure that our bodies, we carry thousands and thousands and thousands of different little viruses and buggies and all this other kind of crap that our immune system every single second of every single day creates antibodies to help us defend ourselves with. But by taking perfectly healthy people and keeping them quarantined, you are lowering said immune system because now you've limited their exposure down to just what's within the home. And come on, that makes no sense. And this is why I know there have now been so many different groups of doctors that are now having the bravery to step forward and give us the information that we truly need and actually turn the narrative around that the lamestream has been trying to promote and brainwash people with for so long. It's got to stop. It really does. Living in fear. You want a true way to hurt yourself? Live in fear. Because I guarantee you live with fear. Stress is the #1 killer above every single ailment. You name me one thing, and you combine them all together, and stress is
if we're going to label COVID as a cause of death on so many things, why haven't we been labeling stress right along with heart disease, cancer, diabetes? Because the more stress you put on something, you already have that pre-existing disorder. Okay. Well, lump some stress on top of it. Then stress should be the listed killer, not the disease you had. I mean, it's the same insanity as they're applying COVID, right?
It's the same mentality that they had with fibromyalgia. I remember when the medical community, you would actually get laughed at. You would get, your whole entire reputation would get smashed for even implying that fibro was a real disorder. But lo and behold, ding, 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 20 years later, here we are. Now it's one of the most commonly diagnosed autoimmune disorders in America, along with lupus and so many other ailments that I feel so bad for so many that have suffered with it for so long. But now they have finally started to recognize, and now they actually diagnose it. And of course, I believe that has something to do with big pharma as well. As of course, the moment that you heard about that, then you heard about all the Lyricas and this one, that one, and the other one coming out. So of course, it's a cash cow for them. It always is. But that should show everybody how morally and just financially corrupt these jackasses are. They really are.
Another thing that people are not, and I've been saying this for eons, 2 things that we've done that the government does not want to talk about is the fact that we are allowed to pump our food sources, meat in particular, full of antibiotics and steroids, to make them grow faster so that we can get them to market faster. Our children are developing way sooner than they used to, for one.
Yes, they are.
And then we have all of these insane VRE, MRSA they're resistant to most antibiotics that used to kill simple things. They don't anymore because we've bombarded our body full of antibiotics that now don't work. Think about that.
Thus creating a superbug. And you are 100% correct. And that's what I worry the most about by quarantining all these healthy people and everything else. You now have viruses that otherwise would have perfectly suitable hosts. So now they have to mutate and evolve to actually be able to live. See, that's another cornerstone, bedrock, fundamental truth about virology or viruses in general. Is that they prefer a nice, healthy, living host. That's how they replicate. That's how they survive. They're not too much different than the human soul is. They thrive on healthy hosts. But when they go ahead and now all of a sudden their menu, so to speak, of humans has been, just cut in half. So now they've got to do all kinds of alternate things. And now you've got, and from what I understand, you have, because they've limited a lot of the community and county workers and all these municipal management types as well. Now you have higher rat infestation issues. You have pests issues that are just becoming out of control. And guess what helped spread the plague back in the day? Well, ding, 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 ding. It was the rats. Yes, it was. And now here we are in 2020. Now, yet again, being limited. And I'm not saying the plague's going to come back or anything like that. But you know what? It's not too far-fetched idea to know that something bad is headed down the pike if we don't stand up now and all unite and use that power that we, the people, have. Remember, the government is supposed to work for us, not us for them. They work for us. They are public servants. We elect them in. And that's why, with all the information I read off earlier, please, everybody, I know everybody thinks, well, what's one voice going to do? Well, look what it does every single 4 years. We elect a new president. Every 2 years, we elect some sort of senator or House of Rep type. You do have more power than what you believe, but it's been left to the mainstream to sit there, twist, bend, and try to indoctrinate everybody that you don't matter because no, your voice doesn't. It's what we say. I mean, look, you have people like Cuomo on there all the time. Oh, you get our information from us, so you shouldn't go out there and get it. You talk about some of the biggest jackass statements I've ever heard in my life. People like that need to take their boot, turn it sideways, and shove it firmly right up. And you know what? Would it be nice? Sorry.
Where the sun don't shine.
Yeah. Yep. I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot we need to be questioning as people, and we've become very. I know I was at one point very complacent, very kind of lazy, thinking, well, let the government take care of that. Every time you think it, every time you say it, you weaken all of us. When you don't take it out, we have responsibilities as citizens. One is to vote and vote in an educated manner, number one. Number two is to talk to your representatives. I mean, they're accessible. They're supposed to be. I know my representatives here in my part of the country are freaking amazing. When they're not in session in D.C., they're here. They're on our local news. They're asking voters questions. What do you want to do about this? This is coming up for a vote. This is what I think. What do you think? Their office doors are open. They are accessible to you one-on-one, which is amazing. But it's what we demand. We demand that of them, and they know it. They don't run unless they can fulfill that. And we elect people that are like that. So you need that. That's what a republic is. Okay, you're represented. Everybody says we're a democracy. No, we're a republic. You vote your representative to go to Washington to be your voice. If they're not expressing your voice, the majority of your community, they need to be recalled because they lied to get the job. You need to fire them.
Absolutely. And there is only one way of being able to do that, and that is to help spread the word and then obviously cast your vote. We actually had an issue with a self-proclaimed patriot prepper. Be nice, but who said, oh, it don't matter about the vote and all that. Well, first of all, I take issue because you know what? I've got more friends that I have laid in the ground, that I have seen with that flag draped over their casket, brave men and women alike that have died for these civil rights and freedoms and liberties that many people take advantage of every single day without even giving a second thought, to those that have paid for that in blood with their lives. So anybody and any jackass out there, let me say this right now. Don't ever let me see you kneeling during the national anthem. Don't ever let a guy like me see you burning a flag or anything like that, because I tell you what, hell hath no fury. None. And believe me, we've got somebody out of every generation of my family that have fought bravely for that.
Me too.
This is me.
They're still in. I've got people now that are in every branch of the military.
Oh,
And I'm
God
so proud
bless.
of them.
A big hoo-ah from this old group.
Mm-hmm.
Amen to that. Amen to
Yep.
that. I tell you, but just remember. Oh, and hey, Lady K, and I am
What do you
sorry.
think about those people that take a knee?
That's what he just talked about.
Yep,
Oh,
they
was
don't
it?
know.
I'm
They,
sorry. I had
They
to
don't
go
want to.
potty.
They don't want to do it in front of True Helper ever.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh, hell,
okay.
because I don't care. You know what? Hey, I might not be as big as a football player,
Hey,
but
Robbie.
I am 6'1", well, 6 foot, maybe 230. But you know, who am I? You know, I'm not no badass. I'm just here and say I do this and that. But you know what? I would die. I would take my last breath defending our flag, defending our country, and everything and everybody that has ever paid the ultimate price so that we can have these freedoms that we enjoy today. So to those, what I think personally about those that kneel doing such a thing, you are a jackass,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't understand the first thing, because if any single one of you had anybody that was in the military or did in fact make the ultimate sacrifice, you know damn well you wouldn't take that knee, because let's face the systemic racism and all that, it's a lie. It's bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Pardon
Mm-hmm.
my French, and I apologize. But when you have 13 people between last year and this year that have been killed, supposedly by police brutality and all that, and you're
Yeah.
going to try to use that as an excuse to sit there and take a knee, saying, yes, now, is there a partial issue? Yeah, sure. But then again, show me one trade, one career, any type of profession that doesn't have its bad apples, and I'll give you $1 million.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, easily. But you won't, because you can't. There are evil actors and bad eggs, bad apples, however you want to refer to it as, in every single corner of the world. And it's going to happen. But to sit there and try to use this stuff, and this is what I mean, there are whole generations of people out there that have literally been indoctrinated by these social systems, these educational systems, and these governmental types that don't know the first thing about patriotism. Because if they did, if they truly felt as we feel, if they knew and remembered what this country was founded on, then they damn well wouldn't do that at all, period. So to anybody out there that would don't do that, or even wouldn't have the heart to correct your children, I look down on you and I pity you, because then I would urge you to read into history and see how many millions, not thousands, not hundreds of thousands, millions have died for us to have the country that we do today. Shame on you.
Yeah. DEA phone operator Kaepernick was told to take a knee by a soldier. FYI, that soldier's alive to tell Kaepernick to do that. And I'll leave that one there. But let me tell you, True Helper. Yeah. Let me tell you, Tucker asked me yesterday, he goes, so what do you do if your government is not doing what, the citizens? I said, that's why we have a Second Amendment.
Oh yeah,
Just
it's true.
saying.
That's true. Just be careful. There's the
Just
overlords out there
saying.
with their little algorithm henchmen. You got to be careful.
Hey, I'll meet them at my door with my gun. Okay. Just saying.
Oh, and then you drop that word. There you go. Live stream canceled. Channel revoked. But it is sad. And seriously speaking, we've actually had hundreds of different prepper channels and even some sponsorship groups that have been taken down for using less triggering words than that. And it's crazy nowadays. But yet they'll leave up. I kid you not. They will leave up some terror type. How should I word? Yeah, terror type. That's a good thing. Terror type people that actually put messages against America and things like that. But they'll leave them up. But that's fine. That's fine. Like Jack Dorsey and all them, and the good old the tweety tweets and all that stuff. Come on, man. There has never been a more hypocritical platform that I have ever seen in my life. For every one conservative voice that I have seen out there that has been banned, I can almost name you 100 different Twitters, whatever, Tweety birds that are still allowed to stay up when they are actually inciting riots, inciting violence against others. And you got people like Mad Maxine running around out there, Auntie Maxine, who is running around out there promoting people to actually engage in physical violence against people that have a different political ideology. Now, tell me how disgusting is that? And then you'd have jackasses still voting for that broad? Oh, pardon my French, and I'm sorry. I don't usually talk like that. But to me, she's not even a woman. She's really not. She's a deviltress or whatever you would call her.
Yeah, she is. Cinderella has a question for you, True Helper. If they are getting paid more for positive COVID patients.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I tell you, I don't totally understand the system, and there are far greater minds than I that could actually explain all the details of that. But it's been made to my understanding, they get between 12,000, give or take, 14,000 up to 20 or 35,000. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's in that ballpark per patient that they actually write up with COVID. And the reason being is because it works out again. It's some big old political marked up banker finance type of thing with big pharma, big medical and all that stuff that it tacks onto their budget. So I don't think that they get directly paid, but when they go, say, for I don't know how they take their draws from their budget every year, but that gets tacked on because they see it as a specialized case. So since COVID-19 is now, the big to-do, and it is the novel virus that they are searching for a vaccine, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't even have said that word, but a vac for, which, mind you, I would never take, not in a million years. But yeah, they get that because, again, it's a specialized case, and they see it that they have to use all this specialized PPE and everything else. So, in other words, it's a very complicated system when you get into the tedious details of it. But yes, they do get paid for every one that they mark up. And I'm glad the question was asked, because we've also found that there are so many people with comorbidities that have been wrote up. A good case in point, we lost a pretty near and dear friend of ours who actually had passed from cancer. He literally almost on life support for the past year and a half. Passed. Actually had a test come up positive for COVID, and then they try to write up COVID on the death certificate. Oh, well, let me tell you what, and this shows that we the people still have the power. The coroner's office was petitioned and then slammed with an intent to sue, and guess what they did? They overturned it. They wrote it up for what it was, that everybody knew that he was passing away from cancer for years.
Well, I've had this question asked to me before. People ask, well, what was the cause of death of, certain people or whatever. And I'm like, at the end of the day, honestly, on every single cause of death, that it should be written cardiac failure, because once your heart stops, you're kind of done. Kind of doesn't matter how the heart stopped, be it from cancer, from heart disease, from whatever. Your heart stops. That's why you die. I mean, if you're going to be really, hypercritical about it, yeah, that. So I don't, but now we're so focused on, COVID kills everybody. Well, no, hold on. Is that actually true? And if you're willing to lie to me about the number of people that are actually testing positive for COVID, chances are you're going to lie to me about how they died. I'm just going to go with that. Because if you're going to, it's kind of like, the husband that cheats on you, he's probably going to do it again. If he's done it once, he's going to do it again, just with a different chick. Well, okay, so now our cause of death is a different chick. You lied about the numbers over here. Now you're lying about these numbers over here. You're still lying. The fact is, you lie, right?
That's true. That is true.
But that makes too much sense, doesn't it?
Well, of course. And that's how they tend to take advantage and capitalize on we the people, because many people, let's face it, they aren't educated about certain matters. And you know what? And it's not to put anybody down, because trust me, I had to do so much brushing up into the world of virology and epidemiology and all of those things before I ever came out and said word one. I started out on a little channel, Dad with a Phone, I think it was, when this all first started kicking off. And I was on there, spitting out what I thought and what I knew and what I thought I knew at the time. And of course, half of that now is even wrong, because they keep changing and moving the goalpost all the time. So it's, in one respect, yes, there are things that many people, unless if you're an actual doctor or a nurse, that's, or even a former nurse, that you're not going to know. But you know what? In this day of technology, there is no reason why nobody can't go and get the education that they need. And for me, I'm still old school. I actually, every time they have a book sale at the library, I always there the $5 bags. You should see my library. I've got books, the nurse testing books and the CL or C, whatever the heck it is.
That NCLEX prep books and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, the RNX books and yeah, words are hard. Those books and all that.
I had about 50 of those at one time.
Yeah, but to me, it's always good to have, because even if they're outdated, and still at least you have a fundamental foundation of this knowledge so that you can move forward and always refer
there are some things that never change.
Exactly.
Like when you test somebody 5 times and 4 of those are positive, it's still under one person. That never changes.
Nope.
Wonder why. Because math, I don't know.
They try to get us with that. Call Me Frenchy had asked me if I've ever read Simon de Beauvoir or Jean-Paul Sartre. I'm probably butchering those names, but no, I've never read them. But I'll actually look them up.
Is that the comment that you were looking to read to him? I'm looking back.
I don't know. Maybe it was. I'll have to take a screenshot of that and look into them, because it's one thing I do love. Oh, and hey, Mel actually said something the other day that I had rarely ever say hello to her, but I do.
They're philosophers.
You just don't see me. Hello, Mel. And Lady K. I saw Lady K say hello earlier, and I'm so sorry. Samara S., Remy, and all of you, I'm so horrible. I don't know how Carl and Misdemeanor do it. I really don't. And Lord knows when I finally get something up and running, I got to get my dumb little button gear and learn how to do that without keep spouting off. Some say I even like the sound of my own voice, but I assure you,
I get in trouble sometimes if I don't say hello to people. They'll say, I said hello to you 3 different times. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I didn't see your comment.
Yeah, they're talking about all these parks.
I'll even get like scolded in emails sometimes.
These major theme parks that are open, and yet you can't go to your doctor. That doesn't make any sense to me. Your doctor will only do video calls, but you can go to the theme park, spend the day at Dollywood.
And I don't understand that, because it's like the roller coasters are open, because we've got Kennywood here, and the roller coasters are open. How are they cleaning that? How are they, like, I'm not going to go there, but how are they? I mean, they take your temperature when you go in. You have to wear a mask. But can you imagine walking around a theme park all day with a mask on?
Nope.
Like, I don't know.
That wouldn't happen. And let me tell you why. Because anybody that knows how these things work, I'm telling you, especially even with children, anybody who's a parent out there, do not do that to your children, because I assure you, first of all, they don't know the first thing about masks, especially if they're youngins, anybody in their teens or whatever. Okay, they may understand, but they, between fidgeting and playing with the mask and all that, they're more likely to get sick. And if not, suffering from oxygen or being oxygen depleted, and then if they fall out, trust me, if they pass out, it's going to happen hard, fast, and quicker than you could even blink an eye at. And when your child falls down and hits his or her head so hard that it causes brain swelling, let me tell you, don't live with that regret, because we actually have a couple within our group that are right now living with that. And that's why, trust me, you don't want to test children with that kind of thing, because they're not built like us. And trust me, their little bodies chew up oxygen a hell of a lot faster than we do. And beings that are always so high strung too, their metabolisms are so much stronger and so much faster than ours. They literally burn through it like little machines. So when they sit there and have these stinking cloth masks and everything else on, trust me, it's not a matter of if, but when. And especially when you're wearing it for longer than a half hour at a crack. During summertime heat and humidity.
And they're expecting them to wear those to school, like to wear them while in school.
They already tried that.
How many hours?
They already tried suggesting that. We shut them down here in a certain part of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania.
Yeah, I think that they've been shut down just about everywhere here too, because I mean, you can't expect kids to do that all day. There's just no way.
Okay, so Frenchie said that Jean-Paul Sartre won the Nobel Peace Prize on the 50th. His book was about society and how we're Muppets and we're played with. Very good.
I'm
Why isn't the
definitely
government putting out this was my gripe from yesterday too. Why isn't the government putting out specific parameters on these masks that we're supposed to wear? Like, this is a type, this is how long you can wear it before you need to dispose of it, or can it be, recycled? How many times can you wear it? Not one word, but you've got the premier scientific brain of this country, Dr. Fauci, saying that you have to wear masks, that it's helping, but he gives you no parameters on what kind. These masks that people are buying are saying not for medical use. Cinderella was just talking about that. She ordered them. When she got them, they say on there, not for medical use. What does that tell you? And then people are coming up with these cute bandanas and shit. Look.
Oh, I saw that. Yes, I saw that in the grocery store yesterday. The guy didn't have a mask; he just had a bandana that he tied around his face, like a bank robber type thing. It was like, what is the point of that? Like, it was just hanging down. Like it wasn't like even close to his face. I'm like, well, that's not doing nothing. That's not doing a whole hell of a lot of good.
I saw a guy here because our good old Governor Wolf, the hypocrite of hypocrites, we also caught him out and about within 2 feet of others without wearing a mask. But, it's all good. But anyway, we caught a guy. I wouldn't say caught a guy, but saw a guy up in the Walmart a little while ago who had 2 tampons duct taped around his face. And they couldn't say nothing to him.
Oh my
because
God.
technically he had his nose and his mouth covered. So, hey, with what they're saying about little nylon polyester type or polyester mixed type bandanas doubled over and all that. It's just, come on, y'all. It is a joke at this point. Please.
Well, Carla and I were talking about the other day that we didn't ride in car seats. We rode our bikes with no helmets.
No.
We didn't have knee pads on when we went roller skating or whatever. We ate mud pies. Who was it said they ate mud pies? Melinda.
Wasn't me.
I mean, we should be immune to everything, us old people. I'm just saying.
Yeah, we like the way our children or our parents raised us is way different the way our kids are raising their kids. Like they put their kids in a bubble. Like they don't allow the kids to fall down and skin their knees. You know what I mean? Like it's all about, I think, in my opinion, overprotection.
Yes. Yeah.
Is that good or not? And not good. I mean, how are your kids? I don't know.
If I may say, I have always been the type to notice my surroundings. I talk to every single one of my neighbors. I've always developed a community center or some kind of community group wherever I've went. And the one thing I can tell you beyond a reasonable doubt with the 2 young men that we raised, okay, roughnecks. I had him out in the field with me, had him doing anything from construction to change, turning wrenches. I mean, you name it. They were down, dirty, grimy, this, that, the other, cleaned up, shown proper hygiene, all that good stuff, brush your teeth, all that good stuff. But the bottom line is, I noticed the difference immediately as they started getting into their high school years between how they were raised and how all their other friends around them, many of them were getting sick and all that. And then, just in casual conversation without most of the parents even knowing, I was kind of like trying to gauge how they were raised and all that. I would always tell that they were always hand sanitizer every other second, Lysol wipes everywhere, this, that, and the other. And then versus the young man that we had, it was like night and day. And for whatever, even still, I mean, knock on wood, both of them, I can count on one hand all the times they've been sick their whole lives. And don't get me wrong, they've had proper nutrition and all that, raised them. And, one takes echinacea, the other believes in the elderberry. And, I do the add-on during their 20s now and all that stuff. But the bottom line is that they have been immune from many of these things. And another thing I will say, I should say my queen and I had to actually go against the school board because they tried to mandate vaccinations. And we said, absolutely not. And then guess what happened? Within a year after many of their classmates had these, they all got sick.
Yep.
Is that coincidence? No, I think not. I don't believe in coincidences. I really don't. Not when you have many of them happening all at the same time. I just don't believe in it. I don't buy it. 1 or 2, yeah, okay, an anomaly, and yeah, it might be. But when you have tens into hundreds, it's not a coincidence. It's just not. But
Christy says, my uncle used diesel fuel to treat everything like poison oak
I
and
don't know
cuts.
about
He's
that.
in his 80s and looks and acts like he's in his 50s.
I don't know about all that. I did treat a patient that had hip cancer, really, really rare hip cancer. And I asked him, well, what's up? He worked at the plants here in Southeast Texas and washed his hands in benzene every day before he left work. So there's that. And of course, they couldn't sue. I guess he should have known he was going to get cancer from that, but I don't know how back in the day. They didn't exactly tell you things like that. They just said, wash your hands in that over there. Okay.
Yeah, it's true. And they do the same with a lot of the auto mechanics too. I know a lot of them they would be doing the degreaser and all that stuff. But we also have to remember everybody is built differently. Like I've known people that have lived well into darn near into their hundreds, believe it or not. One was 102, the other was 104. Both of them smoked their whole lives, but yet they've had family members that smoked and they died in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. So again, everybody is built differently in some way. Anatomically speaking, of course, we have, our heart, liver, kidneys, lymphatic system, the whole 9 yards. And everybody does respond differently to things like sunlight and different mutations. Just, again, there's so many different things to factor in. And that's why I give the utmost credit, respect, and just bow my head in many ways to so many different doctors and nurses and scientific researchers and all these people, because they really have to do, it's almost like a jigsaw puzzle with many different patients. And I can't thank most of them enough. But then there are the handfuls that are out there right now still trying to push this propaganda-based political narrative about how, oh my gosh, we should just live in all this fear and it's the end of days. Well, again, your own numbers debunk your own narrative. So let's just call it what it is. Everybody reach out.
Huck says, well, people with medically induced lower immune systems are not supposed to take the flu shot. So does that also mean we can't have a corona shot either?
I would think so.
Yes, because it's
if
really
it's a live,
I would think it's the same.
if it's a live virus, like you can't. Children that have like the live polio vaccine are not supposed to be around cancer patients because it can spread to them. So they warn against that. So I don't know. I don't know how they're going to say that, but my big takeaway from all of this actually is, keep an open mind. And if things don't make sense, it doesn't matter where it's coming from, whether it's government or it's what people would consider, these crazy right-wing conspiracy people. Okay. There's people in the middle, in between all of those, that have good ideas and sound common knowledge that makes better sense. So if you're not hearing common sense from other places where you should be hearing common sense, question it. And I'm never said, and I will never say, don't follow some of the guidelines that they're giving us. Stay a distance away. That you should be doing that during regular flu season anyway. They tell you that. If you got a cough or sneeze, do it into your elbow, not your hand, into your elbow. Okay, because you're going to use your hands for other stuff. Right. Wash your hands. Wear a mask. If it's mandated in your area, wear a mask. Maybe not so much for you, but for people that are out there like my crazy mother who's 85 and will not stay put somewhere, but who has to go out and buy flowers every freaking day for I don't know why. I'm going to ground her, swear to God. But for those people who may be more immunocompromised, so that if you've been exposed or you're carrying it, you don't give it to them or you don't get it from someone else. Right.
Yes.
I'm not saying don't do all of those things just because it's good for your community. Okay.
Right.
But when you get home and you sit down and sit in front of the news and you hear things that don't make sense, start asking, why doesn't that make sense?
And again, even if you are the introverted type or you feel a bit shy or whatever else, remember all those thousands and thousands and thousands of your tax dollars that you have paid over the years. This gives you the right to get in contact with your local politicians and bring it all the way up to the top. Because again, this is one of the only and main ways that we can make change. This is how we have to make change. So if anybody that really protests this and really is awake and knows what's going on, for you not to say anything makes you just as culpable as everybody else. Now, every single person out there is a must. But you know what? If you feel as we feel and you know and suspect that something is up, please, we need every little bit of help. We need every single voice that we can muster in this fight, because that's exactly what it is right now. We are under assault. And if you notice, this is why they constantly fabricate and manufacture all these different things. Like, just a good case in point. You think all these riots right now are all over George Floyd? Nah.
Nope.
No, it's
Nope.
not. I guarantee you it's not. And why? Because we have had boots on the ground. We know many of these dummies that are running around in their little Antifa masks and all these burn, loot, murder types. And yeah, let's just say they ain't out there for the right reason. Not when you're sitting there tossing loaded fireworks and lasering people's eyeballs out of their head. No, it just don't work that way. And for those that think just because there are certain federal troops and other cops being involved and they're just agitating, no, they're trying to bring it under control. What is it? Portland now is in the 54th or 55th night of nonstop destruction. And if they really cared about their cause and the people that they were supposedly trying to defend, why are they burning down the businesses that now people have lost everything? Everything.
Right.
Oh, that's okay. Right. They have insurance. In many cases, no, they don't. No, they don't.
And they're coming down hard on Trump because they want him to pull the troops out. Listen, I stand by him. Don't you dare. They need them.
Keep them there, because there are these limp. I'll be nice. There are these. There, sorry, I almost did it. I caught myself. Oh, sorry. I apologize. No, there's women here. I'm not raised people than that. There's these lame leaders, and if you notice, in over 90% of the areas that are having these issues, they happen to be run by the demon rats. And I'm sorry to name them that. And don't get me wrong. I want to make one thing very clear. I actually voted for Obama the first time around, and I at one time was in fact a Democrat. And I know people are like, "Oh, what? You? No." Yes, I was. True story. But once I saw what they were doing and how they have perverted the message that I thought I believed in, I had to walk away. And then once I opened my eyes to what many in the Black community were truly going through, i.e. and AKA Brandon Tatum, Anthony Brian Logan, Jericho Green, Candace Owens, and all of these superstar, just outstanding young conservative Black patriots, they help you understand the truth behind many different things. Now, does that mean that every single one of them got to take it as gospel? No, absolutely not. Because again, like Misdemeanor said, you must question everything. That's how we learn as children. That's how we learn. So why not as adults? And I think many people have lost that ideology. They have lost that fascination. They have lost that what should be a responsibility of every American, and for that matter, even every Canadian, everybody everywhere. And that was for you, Tucker, by the way. Welcome back.
Well, thank you. See, I have a question for you, because I'll make this statement. Sure. I have endured many different governments just because of my age, as we all have. We've seen liberals, conservatives, Democrats come and go, right? We've all seen. I personally have never benefited one time by either left or right. Like never. My life has never changed as a result of having a liberal government or having a conservative government. Well, we call them conservative, or you call them Republicans, whatever the hell. But in my personal life as a fellow human being, my life has never changed. Someone on Twitter, or maybe it was even your side chat, said you have the left wing and the right wing, and we have it here too. However, they're all part of the same bird. You know what I mean? They all, it's just a fakery at its best. See, my question is simply this. there's no source of information regarding anything that you can go to with confidence, listen, and at least walk away with some facts. Like there's just, they don't exist. Because you talk about the coronavirus, and you can apply this to anything. Some people say, well, wear the N95 mask. Okay. And then, as I do, I go to the hospital, and just casual conversation. You're talking to a doctor who's attending you. So what do you think about these N95 masks? Oh, they don't work. Oh, well, why are you wearing one? Oh, because it's mandated in the hospital. I'll lose my job if I don't wear one. Oh, then you talk to somebody else.
Actually,
Oh,
they
they
do work.
absolutely work. They
Yeah, they
absolutely
do.
work. So we don't have a viable source of information on anything.
And
Like,
yet, every day, you got Dr. Fauci, tried to say it right that time, on TV telling you just wear a mask. Leading scientist in this country, heading us all up.
yeah. So you
Odd,
kind of
isn't it?
you leave people going, like Carla was saying earlier. Oh, well, I'll just wear a balaclava. That'll do. I'll just wear my wife's old bra. That'll work. I'll just cover my mouth. Like, I'll cough into my elbow. That'll work.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows. No,
I'm
nobody
actually
knows
glad.
anything.
I'm glad that you asked that, because honestly, I've been asked that 1,000 times. Because for whatever for whatever reason within our group, some people just, I don't know, they ask me 1,000 different questions. But to answer your earlier question about left and right and all that stuff, as a businessman, I can say that in the 8 years that our predecessor there was in office, job regulations were at their all-time high. I saw many of my brothers and sisters and just fellow patriots that were literally choked to death from all the taxes and everything else that were going on. And especially in the world of building and construction, be it handicap accessible remodeling or whatever it might be, for me, all the building codes and regulations that were out there, it was just through the roof. It really was. I mean, and mostly with government, obviously, just talking about a lot of these taxes that are implied and implemented. Well, now the big difference between the last dude that was in there versus the new man, I can honestly say that for every one regulation that he has wrote into place, there's
Get rid of two.
18 to 23 that he has removed. And I have never seen our businesses thrive more right now, even through this COVID-19. I have never seen people thrive more than I have in many different ways. I should say for the businesses that are still open right now. But pre-COVID-19, it was at an all-time high. The man came in and started out with like a 3.8.
Let me ask you this question.
I used to get really lost. I used to get really lost in this political discussion, because my brain doesn't think that way, and I don't want it to.
Yeah.
But talking to my son, who I think is just brilliant and gorgeous, of course, because he's mine.
Of course.
But he said, basically it boils down to this. For those of you who just really don't like politics and don't really know what to do about that, and all the stuff that you hear on the news, and all the different ways that, money is handled or whatever, it boils down to this. Our government, and I challenged everybody the other day to go read the Constitution of the United States.
Amen.
It breaks it down beautifully. Our government, our federal government, is not meant to be, number one, huge like it is, and have all these employees that we pay. And it's not meant to do a whole lot. It's meant to protect our country. That's it. And make our laws. Okay. Shouldn't be a whole lot need to be made, because the states are supposed to run the states.
Yeah, exactly. Government in the 40s, this was their job. Roads,
when you look at
lighting,
traditionally in this country, as far as left and right, okay, and keep in mind, we need both sides. We desperately need both sides. You cannot have an echo chamber and have a successful government. I don't believe you can. I need Democrats. I need good Democrats.
But let me ask you all a question. It's going to sound really silly, but if something comes down, I'll use this as an example. So they just imposed a law in Canada that your passengers in your car can't have a cell phone in their hand.
Right.
Okay, just that, So where was my vote towards that? Where was my voice
Well,
towards
that goes straight back to voters, constituents, citizens have become excruciatingly lazy.
Yes.
We don't reach out to find out what our government is trying to instill into our lives.
but in essence, you actually have no vote, and you can't even say, well, in 4 years I'm going to cast my vote and change things, because it doesn't change the minutia of what we go through. Like,
Well,
you know what I mean?
we have C-SPAN here, and you can very easily click on C-SPAN on any given day and find out what they're arguing about, what they're looking at in the House of Republicans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I
And
say that right?
This is part of the problem that we face in America today. And Tuck, I don't know how it is in Canada, but I can honestly say, knowing pretty well and being involved in
It's the same
politics
here, man.
many years, I can say that this is part of how and why they are trying to capitalize on the American people, because
Right.
we, the people, we founded this. We fought, we bled, we died for this country to be established. We beat one of the biggest tyrants ever in the history of modern man. And the bottom line is that many people have forgotten their duties and their responsibility as being an American. And that means that, yes, there are ways, if you stay in contact with your local politicians, from your mayor going right up to your governor, your congressman, and anybody that represents you, you do in fact have the right. And you hear of these groups all the time that petition these senators, these congress people, and everybody else about different articles or different things and laws that they're trying to pass and all that. And that's one of the main reasons why they have capitalized on our ignorance. They have capitalized on laziness, like Misdemeanor said. Too many people have become complacent and lazy, thinking, oh, we'll vote them in and they'll take care of everything from there. That's part of the problem, because that's not the way the system works. The system works is we elect an elected representative to go in to represent our part, our little corner of the country, our little state, right? And from there, we still have the right to be involved with the political process. Anything that comes across our desk,
to what
we
degree?
as Americans
You know what,
have the right
Simon,
to
I'm going to put this out there. You know, all the stuff that we see on the news, and it happens here in Canada, Italy, Spain, the UK,
I've got a few
Australia,
friends.
all those, the BLM and all the, I don't know what they call themselves, but I'm just saying that kind of behavior exists globally, even in China now.
But see, I can't even focus on them. I'm focused on mine.
No, I know, but what I was going to say was that, you know what, time will pass, and for all the burnings, opposition, anger, wanting change, whatever the case may be, we will go back to the way things were, like it never even happened. So what I'm saying is, for all the damage and the news and everything of all these people that are in opposition, I don't even know what they're in opposition of anymore, have not invoked any kind of change.
No, they haven't, and they're not going to.
And
But my thing, going back to what I was saying before, our government is supposed to be small. That's what I know as a conservative, as a Republican, as a right wing, or whatever you want to call me. The other side does not see it that way. They want a bigger government. They want things regulated. They want to make sure that the people are safe in that manner. Okay, I understand that, like the FDA, the FCC, all these little things that we've got in our government that we're paying for. They're not supposed to exist, to be honest with you. They're not. We're supposed to be monitoring those things by a state level. We're supposed to be making our laws at the state level. The cell phone thing should be done at a state level. If it's out of control to the point where you have to make a law federally, nationally, across the nation, like the speed limit or the drinking age or whatever, those should still be state. But if it's not controlled by the states, then the federal government steps in and our legislators make a law. We send it through to the president and he signs it in as a law. Okay, but there's a lot of steps that have to happen before those things become law. And people need to be paying attention. The citizens have a duty to this country to pay attention and act on that. And it does no good. It does a terrible disservice for everyone every year or two to sit around and bitch about these people who we put in office and we're paying them good money and blame them. Where's your voice? What are you saying about it? Where are your receipts to show that you've called or you've written or you've texted or you've emailed? They text me every freaking. Devin Nunes is about to drive me up a freaking tree. I even texted him back and said, bitch, you want me to send you money? Get me a job. Okay.
You know what I think all governments need? Not a Senate or a cabinet in our case. I think they need a quorum of people who have a lot of authority. And I mean, you elect a soccer mom who stays at home and looks after her kids.
But that's the beautiful part about America.
And then you elect.
That's the way that it already should be amongst the
and then you elect
along the line.
mailman.
Past 30 plus years of Democratic leadership, we've forgotten this. We really have.
Because we consistently hire lawyers.
Brainwashed everybody into believing that we don't have a voice. I mean, they've gone as far as to say as such on live television. And when you get two of the supposed bigger, I don't even know what you want to call them anymore, these hosts on, good old CNN saying that one of the biggest problems with America is white people, that kind of says it all. And then people they feel like they have no power, they have no relevance and all that, but you simply need to pick up a constitution.
But I mean, if you guys
understand the powers that we have.
If you guys had like a quorum, even if it was 100 people, 100 people with authority, and that means this: you have a soccer mom, a mailman, a fireman.
That's the way it's supposed to be. That is the way it's supposed to be.
A farmer. You have a black person, a white person, an Asian person.
Hey, Tuck, if I can cut you off there, let me just say this real quick. This is actually how it already is supposed to work. And let me give you a good case in point of and how and why it's actually alive and people don't even realize it. Look at what's happening with cancel culture right now. You have so many people that have banded together, and many on the left and all that have actually, if you don't believe in their political ideology, they actually call people's jobs. They go after advertisers. They do all these different things, and they've proven that works. Well, guess what? That's the bedrock of how politics work. Period.
That's right. Supposed to.
Yes.
Supposed to. My daughter actually said to me, Tucker, why in the world would you vote? Because I was going to vote for Ben Carson. She had the audacity to say to her mother, why would you vote for a surgeon? I said, okay, first of all, he's not just a surgeon. He is actually a neonatal neurological surgeon. Okay, let's start there. Second of all, this is what our government's supposed to be made of, not lawyers. Lawyers are paid to argue. That's all they do is argue. And we've been brainwashed to believe that, oh, listen, you don't understand the laws in this country. Let me do it for you. No, I should be able to understand them. And why are you people passing laws that are 3,000 pages and full of a lot of crap, except for the one thing you're supposed to be passing in the first place? If I were president tomorrow, you could not write a bill that was greater than 100 pages. Let's say that. And it could only be about one thing. You can't fill it full of pork where this state gets a bridge that costs a gazillion dollars and it goes nowhere. And that's what they do in this country because we've hired lawyers.
How come you're not on a panel, not a panel on YouTube, but how come you're not in a quorum that actually has authority as a woman, an ordinary woman who is concerned about the price of gas?
I am. I go to city council meetings.
No, but you don't have any power. How come Carla?
But I do
on a panel where she can say, I don't. But big pharma is too much for ordinary people to pay. I'm an ordinary person. How come my husband?
Not that. Listen, it's not that because that would be one person. That would be a monopoly.
No,
because there are. But here's the thing. But here's the thing, Tucker. There are people on those same panels that you're talking about, which is our city councils, our state councils that we have together that can go and voice these things to the representatives that go, the federal level as well, lobbyists that go. But there's always an opposition.
Yes.
So
Like I was
It's not just an echo chamber that they all go together and
no,
nobody
but
opposes
have
their point of view.
100 ordinary people with some real influence, given the authority by the people. You know how
That's
many
called we have that. It's called Congress.
Yeah,
Congress can suck
but
my ass, and so can our
Well,
Senate
but
here in
whose fault
Canada.
is that? Is that Congress's fault or is that the American citizen? Because number one, we elect people without educating ourselves on what they stand for.
But they're all millionaires. They're the same as we have
No,
cabinets here.
no, they're not all millionaires.
hey,
No.
Tuck, if I may, okay, just real quick. I understand your question, and this should honestly help to answer that said question. There already are those types of councils. Misdemeanor was already trying to say it actually starts out and you got as low as a community council, then it goes to your city council. Then there usually is either a municipal or borough type of council. Then you have your mayor. Then you have your governor. Then they usually have panels. And then, I mean, it's obviously worded differently than it is in the Canadian government there. But then you go a higher up. Obviously, then you get into our House of Representatives, then you get into our Senate. And then obviously at the top is supposed to be the president, but people question things all the time. And I get what you're saying, but there already are those things out there. But the one thing that many forget the most.
So what you're saying is they're just buried in bureaucracy.
Yes. In many cases they are, but that's where and why people have to stop just electing these people and start being a bit more involved, because I believe that people say, well, I'm busy raising a family, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, or blah, 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 blah. I don't have time for it. Well, you know what? If you have time to sit back and be on the internet or anything like that, then you have
I understand what you're saying. You're saying on a local level, in our case, we have our local MPs. Okay. Those people are very in tune. They're just like you and I. I could run for an MP and I would be perfectly aware of what the price of milk is, how much gas is, daily life. I would be as an MP. But when you go to the higher levels, the people that can actually make change, invoke change, they are so disconnected from ordinary people that it's unbelievable. If Carla said, oh, well, my husband works 12 hours a day just to make ends meet, they have no concept of that. They have no concept of that. Or if you said milk is $5 a liter or whatever the hell, what I'm just throwing it out there. They have no concept of those things. Or the people in the United States that have to arbitrarily, they get a list of prescriptions because they're sick. They can't afford to take all their medications. They skip a couple days on the diabetes, then they're back on this, then they take half a pill of diabetes, and that, you know what I mean? Like, they're not in tune with those kinds of lives. And that's important, because those things are what drives the very existence of a country. 90% of us are just peons, just everyday life,
And unfortunately, in many different corners of every single government around the world, no matter how the system is built or constructed, you're always going to have those kinds of biases, the level of corruption, and everybody in between acting inappropriately or not, as you said, being in touch with the everyday man or woman. But this is why it does start out in your communities. It starts out with educating oneself. You don't even have to know everything about everything, because
so inevitably,
but that's why you've got to look at Joe Bob next door or Mary Sue here and there and say, hey, look, I like you to represent me.
But because of the bureaucracy, a person like yourself could table a subject that requires change, and everybody would agree with that.
Oh, trust I do.
I'm at
a city council at least once or twice every month. I guarantee you that.
Well,
like seeing me walk through the door, that's for sure.
I don't know. I don't even care for the whole process. I really don't, because it's so convoluted.
See what they've done to you? They've got you so disgusted with it that they actually make many people, and many everyday people and decent people, just give up. They just that is the part of their game plan, because they figure
you know what happens?
They have to worry about.
How many times has this happened to anybody in the side chat? You're driving down the road. I'll just use easy numbers. You're driving down the road. You got to put gas in your car. It's $2.50 a gallon. You go over, you put $20 in your car. 2 days later, you need more gas. You're driving down the road. It's $4 a gallon. What do? You pull in, you bite your lip, you you tighten your belt, and you pay it, and you don't even say a damn thing. And you don't even know why you're paying $4. Someone farted in Arabia, and prices went up or something. Like, you don't have any control. And if you were to debate that, you'd be long dead before you ever got an answer, if you even had an answer on any given subject.
Well, I'll tell you what, people were sick of the way the political system was running, and we had a businessman that ran last time around, and for the first time, one of the biggest times in history, he was actually elected. And then let me tell you something, we were up to about $4 a gallon, give or take, well, between $3.50 to $4 a gallon in and around the major metropolitan area of Pennsylvania and or New Jersey. And guess what it is now? I've seen prices as low as $2.30 to $2.45. That's pre-Katrina prices, because I remember it was still $1.79 a gallon, and it went up overnight to $2.15 to $2.75, and then like 10 days later it went all the way up to about $3.50, and everybody was shocked.
I'm going to be all over the place. I'm going to ask you all lots of questions. Okay,
it's okay.
So we all agree that medications are overtly expensive, correct?
Yes.
Like medicines are correct. Yeah. So it's 2020, and I'm just saying, the president apparently has the authority and has done so to cut medicine prices in half.
Yeah, they've gone down substantially here. I know
so that. Like, what the hell? Medicines have always been expensive. They just didn't have an increase in 2020. They've been like that for since as long as I've been alive. How come that wasn't a bone of contention 40 years ago?
Well, there in many cases, I remember, and I used to read the paper every day when I was young. And let me tell you, I used to remember hearing a lot of people voicing their opinions about that. But unfortunately, again, it usually falls on deaf ears in many cases, or a lot of people just have become complacent and they trust in their politicians, or they think they make one phone call and, oh, that one phone call is good enough. No, this takes, just like raising a child, is the same thing with government. You have to always have oversight, and the more you stay involved, even making a 5 to even under hell, it can be like a minute to 2 minute phone call from time to time, or even send an email.
What I learned from that one thing? It
lets them know that you're staying on top of it.
But you know what I learned from that one thing? That one thing in my entire life, when Trump said, "I'm going to reduce the cost of medicines," you know what I thought? I thought, shit, man, the president, or in my case, the prime minister, can do anything and make it good. And they actually have that authority. How come this wasn't done 40 years ago?
It shows the political corruption and the biases when you have somebody that just lobby. Let's just take that for one example. They get paid millions of dollars, and these politicians get millions of dollars in incentives every year to write in certain things and to add pork to certain bills for some of these big pharma and major medical type of people that are so morally bankrupt and corrupt to the core, just rotten to the core. So it shows in many ways, and it should help to wake everybody up. But I think in a way, the system has balances, okay? How we live our everyday lives always has balances, okay? Look at how much more, I don't would say how much more fulfilling, but look at just 20, 25 years ago. Everybody was out and about. Everybody had some kind of involvement. Nowadays, like with technology and all, many just stay at home, or they're just complicit in just listening to what, say, big media or these governmental types say, stay home, quarantine, blah, 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 blah. No. This is how and why we need to break the norm, because certain things pop up, and with these systems of checks and balances, we've got to learn or just remember that every single person has a voice, and we can change these things. But sitting back and just lazily letting some of these politicians run our world after being just corrupted by some of these big pharma types and all that. Look, again, like you said, Trump was able to come in and actually lower these prices, and it did prove a lot of things that many on the left and their acolytes knew was going to happen, when yet they were so sure good old Kilton there was going to get on into office and run her. Oh God, I don't even want to imagine what the
Well, I
country.
mean, it doesn't even matter who the president is. I'm just simply saying if you have the authority to affect people's lives on a very personal level, then that's actually a good thing. Because if somebody in your side chat just hypothetically saves $100 a month because of this lowering of medicines, then that's a good thing. That's a positive thing. It affected their lives on a very personal level. And I just don't see that in government at all. That's the first time I have ever seen something. It hasn't affected
Well,
me, but I'm just
hey,
saying
Tuck,
that
but if you,
somewhere someone is going to save some cash.
yeah, but Tuck, if you think about it, there's a bit of a contradictory point to your argument. You say that it doesn't matter who's president, but look at what happened. 8 years of inflated prices at the pump, at the CVS, at the Walgreens, at your pharmaceutical supplier. And now with a businessman at the helm, all of a sudden prices have dropped. Regulations are slashed. Businesses were thriving pre-COVID-19 and all of those things. So I respectfully, I disagree. I think it has everything to do with who is in fact in power. And granted, not everybody's going to like every single little point or detail about an individual. And don't get me wrong, I think certain people need to put down social media altogether, i.e. and aka Trump needs to lose Twitter. But you know what? Unfortunately, I will say that defense, unfortunately, with the lamestream media, all the censorship and the misportrayals and the clever editing that's been done over the years, they said that our country was going to fall. We were going to go bankrupt and all that stuff in his first year in office. But look at what happened. We had some of the best years that I can remember in over 40 years.
Oh,
That
really?
I can remember. Actually, well, no, that's a lie. I'm sorry. Reagan was pretty decent. And of course, Clinton had a little bit of a decent time. But, a long story short there is that he came in and just like I
Well,
remember I was ready to
then
go vote
if
for
you're
Ross
going to say
Perot
that,
back in the day. Right out loud.
if you're going to say that, if you're going to make a statement and say, I had a really good year, 4 years of wonderful stuff under this administration, please tell me how that affected you personally on a personal level and your personal life. What
Oh,
did they
sure.
do that affected you personally?
Absolutely. I can tell you one thing. Being a part of a sponsorship program and things of that nature, it has helped me help others to lower a lot of their costs by utilizing some of these different programs that are now have been implemented since he's been in office. My business taxations have literally been cut in half. My daily reporting and all of that is things that I used to not be able to claim. Now I can, exemptions and so forth. I won't get too detailed into that. Again, like I had already said earlier, prices at the pump with the amount of driving that we tend to do sometimes, it literally saves me over a few $100s every single week, believe it or not. When you think about what the old prices were. And then of course both my wifey and I, we are survivors, and let me tell you something, my first round was in the time of the good old Obama's reign, and let me tell you something, I paid 3 times the amount on chemo and all kinds of other stuff that I do or that we did just here recently. So I mean, I could go on and on and on, and I could dig deep into my
Oh,
book.
okay. Well, then you know what? Then you proved me wrong because now I have a little hope.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Don't ever lose hope, Tuck. You shouldn't. I mean, I know it's hard. And believe me, there's many times that I used to lose hope, but now that I'm becoming educated with how the system works, and I'm really deep diving into some of the ways that we can proactively help and better arm people to be better Americans and even better in other countries, better French people, better Canadians, better whoever it is. That's the beauty of life. We live and learn, and we can adequately prepare ourselves on how to try to make things better. And it's not always perfect, and I want to make that very clear. I know that it's perfect, but hey,
Well,
when
look at how young our country is. We're still in our infancy, honestly.
yes,
That's for one thing, and two, we've kind of bastardized the way that it was originally meant to run. When you go in and you invite, perfect example, invite the government to take control of something as big as, well, I don't know, healthcare, which is supposed to be competitive. It removes all the competitive nature from it, and it sets a standard which can be either really cheaper or way more expensive. And chances are it's going to be way more expensive. You know, that to me was just a huge eye opener on whoa, whoa, whoa. We need to pump the brakes, and the government needs to start backing out of a lot of things. They really don't have any business being in. It's not the intention of the government to do that in the first place, because we are a capitalist nation, which breeds competition. When you have good, healthy competition in a country like we have, and it's been the tradition in this country forever until recently, that competition breeds lower prices. When you want to compete with the gas station across the street, what do? You lower your prices.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So when you do the same thing with medicine, when you say, okay, first of all, everybody has to have it, period. Okay, well, you can't do that. Okay, you're not going to force me to buy auto insurance if I don't own a car. But that's what you're telling people, basically. Guys, I'm going to kill you both. I am just going to kill you. But we did that with healthcare. Yeah, everybody has to have it. What I should have done then was retire from nursing then and get my insurance license, because that was an absolute guaranteed income, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody has to have it. And it doesn't have to be Medicare or Medicaid, the government's insurance, right? It could be any insurance, but they have to have it. And it's going to be expensive. I knew it was going to be expensive because you no longer have to have a you don't have a competitive situation. You really don't. And it has to have certain elements in it. Has to have those elements.
Here's something really off topic. I don't really understand the dynamics.
Okay.
What amendment allows you to keep a weapon?
The Second Amendment.
Second Amendment.
Yes, sir.
How come the Second Amendment is a federal thing, right? It's countrywide.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
It's federal, yes. Federal government.
So it's a federal law, for lack of a better word.
Well, federal law and then passed down to the states, and states ratify.
Then how come if you have a countrywide law, it can be interceded and changed and augmented by a state?
Well,
because it doesn't mandate that you have a weapon. Like, we're not Switzerland where you have to have a weapon, right? We say that you can. You have the right to have one.
Your Second Amendment says that you're allowed to have one. Okay.
Correct.
And how come in certain states they overturn that and you are not allowed to have one, or open carry, or whatever? I don't even know what they
see. That's what they don't do. They don't take away that Second Amendment right yet. What they say is you cannot have this type of gun. You have to register it. You have to have licensure. This, that. They put conditions on it, so where you're more likely not to have one.
Right.
Yes.
Which is shitting and crap.
My point is, I'm just saying, how effective are your amendments if in fact they can be changed state by state?
Well, it's not technically that they are changing it. It's just basically that the Second Amendment obviously gives us the right to bear arms. Now, when you break that down as per the state, every state does have the legality, and they have the system set up as such that they can vote on any kind of details that are added on top of that, provisions that say, if somebody, doing a criminal background check, or, right to open carry, or, even private carry. I mean, and don't get me wrong, in just about every state, you can apply for, say, a 232 card or a private conceal and carry type of a permit. But let's be honest, I mean, nowadays, many of them, they kind of look down upon that, but that doesn't mean that they are rejecting or denying your right to that. It's just that there are stipulations that do supersede for certain individuals who say have been convicted of felonies or something along those lines. And yes, there are differences in that right to bear arms, whether they're, say, homeowners can go and purchase weapons, but can't carry them out in the streets. But again, that varies from state to state. And I think it's still like half the states around the country you are allowed to, in fact, have open carry. But again, it's varied so much over the years. But you are correct. I mean, that's why everybody, I feel, in my heart of hearts, the perfect country looks like every single person gets involved in some way, shape, or form of making sure that they don't impede upon our amendments, because once they alter one or change it outright through the Supreme Court, then they will attack every single other one. And that's why, unfortunately, a lot of these rioters and all that stuff, they're allowed to sit there and yell at cops and all this other stuff because we have our First Amendment rights.
Yeah, see, that's where I was leading towards, like, because I was watching some of the cinematics of these protests, and I'm going, these people are actually walking around with military weapons, just ordinary people like us, and walking the streets, and that is their right, I guess. I don't know if it is or not, but I don't know. I don't even have an answer. I'm just going to put a paper bag over my head.
That's a very good question. So that's a very good question. If the state has the right for you to do that sort of thing when you're in the heat of a protest and you're walking around with your weapon that you can legally carry in that state, and then you've got somebody next to you saying, "Oh my God, I'm scared to death because they've got a gun." Where's your gun? Oh, well, I don't believe in guns. Okay, well, to me, that's the problem. Because you have no way to defend yourself. Listen, criminals are not going to give up their guns. God knows. They're not. I don't care what you try to pay them. They're keeping their guns. So as a citizen who is not a criminal, never have been, never will be, I'm going to keep my gun too.
The French in the side chat says that the middle class is what runs a country, and I believe that as well. It's the blue collar, middle class, day-to-day people that run a country, and they're being whittled down significantly, and there's an imbalance, and that imbalance is going to manifest itself into what we see right now.
Amen to that. And that's why I feel that everybody should get prepared and at least become a little bit educated. Again, if you have time to hop online or even take certain trips to certain areas that are, say, just like vacations or whatever, or even just getting out and about, or even, you know, just say being on social media, then you have enough time just to do a little bit of research. Even if you have to take screenshots or something like that, you'd be surprised how equipped the human brain is to remember these things, especially now that we're under so much stress because a lot of these catastrophic events have been happening, and in many cases these leaders of these areas have been allowed to get away with it. But if everybody rose up and spoke against it, and
how do you run this?
Is how we went out and defended our community.
We actually had somebody. How do you rise up and speak
up the street, and we shut them down?
Simon, how do you rise up and speak about anything? Like, let's just put it out there, man. I'm sorry, but violence gets attention. Take YouTube as an example. Drama gets the attention. So does media. In media, violence and anarchy gets attention. So when you say stand up and speak your piece, may be the correct thing to do, but it rarely works because you're not getting the attention. You're just not.
Well, if you look at what happened when Trump was elected, that should say it all. That was one of the, in my mind, it's one of the biggest pivotal things that has happened to our country in many, many years. Are you playing some kind of game there? Somebody in the background?
No, I'm trying to
Candy Crush or something.
No, I'm trying to turn back on my YouTube because my little tablet crashed. Sorry.
You know, all I'm saying is standing up and speaking your voice, even if as a crowd of 1,000, if you're being peaceful, normal, ordinary people, ain't nobody paying attention to you.
Well, that's why I think a lot of people have forgotten how far our voices can actually go, because I can assure you there are many different things that we've had right here in our own little community that we've actually been able to change and overturn just by banding together and making our voices heard. But yes, you're right. They have won a little bit here. They've been destroying properties and all that stuff. But like I said, we as a community, especially in our little part of the world here, we have proven how we can stand up, and we actually took those a-holes that have been running around in almost every other state, and we kicked them out. We told them absolutely not. And believe you me, yes, it did take a show of force, and it did take a bunch of vets and some local clubs that came together. And I'll tell you what, we proved our point. But you're right. I would never promote violence in any way, shape, or form. In fact,
me either.
Whereas I used to be the first one in the middle of the crowd, being able to throw elbows, kicks, or whatever else. But that's not, it really doesn't work. Yes, you're right. It does get some temporary coverage and all that stuff. And it does make a very long lasting point that resonates inside.
Well, see, but see, here's what I'm saying.
Get back to basics.
See here, even in the side chat, what will you, all these events that are going down, what will you remember? You're not going to remember the peaceful protest in a park where someone's standing there with a speech. You're going to remember the burnings, the shootings, the theft, all that. That's what's going to be ingrained in your mind. That's what you're going to remember.
That's true, but look at what has come about since then. I can tell you right now, I know for a fact within the Black community, the Democrat Party, just in our area alone, has lost over 55%. That's 55% of the Democrat, formerly Black Democrat vote. And that's a fact. That's a fact. We are so proactive within our community. We constantly, and these are not these BS numbers that are sometimes ran by the fake news and media, but these are real numbers that we have been able to prove in many different ways that people have walked away. And then guess what? They're sick and tired of it. They really are. So you know what? Let them keep on burning these Democratic run places and all that stuff. Let them keep on doing whatever it is. And, you know, and I feel so heavy-hearted and bad for many different business owners and many people that have to live through something that's almost like a war zone. But you know what? When it happens long enough, and let me ask you, how many times do you get punched in the face until you fight back? You know what I mean?
Oh, here at home, about 3 times a day. I never fight back. There's no point.
Well, I'll tell you what, you take a swing at me, guaranteed you're gonna be sipping your lunch through a straw.
You know what's worse? You want to know what's worse than a punch in the face?
That's how we are as Americans, you know what I mean?
What's worse than a punch in the face is one of those fluffy slippers in the back of the head, because they have leather sole.
Yeah. They're evil.
They have leather
Those
sole
things are evil.
Yeah,
I'm gonna start my own commune. The only thing you have to do is you have to be bilingual. You have to speak French and English, and everything else is okay.
I can't speak French though.
That's easy to learn.
Comment allez-vous?
That's all you need.
That's about all I know.
Yeah, you're in.
I'm in. That's all I have to say, right?
You know, I'm disappointed actually to see so much sadness and so much anger and hatred, and it's just, this is a weird time. I mean, for me, I mean, you know, I've been almost 60 years on the planet. I've seen everything come and go, and this is a first for me. I don't know about you guys, but it's a first for me.
Yeah, it's some hard times, but I'm a glass half full kind of guy, and that's why when as I was kind of relating to that whole punch in the face kind of thing, you know, to me it fires me up and it gets me even more proactive. And I have actually gone to Governor Wolf's office in person more times than I can count. And let me tell you something. Oh, they hear my voice.
He's sick of you, is he?
They know when I'm coming down that hallway. That's for damn sure. They're like,
oh. And then you leave the office and they're calling you the Karen.
Oh no,
well,
we know Karen, because I drop the facts and I drop them just like I've done here today. I go there, but actually I'm much more professional in my suit and tie, and I go up in there with the actual facts that are documented, relevant, and really work. And I've only had conversations with him once directly, but every other time with any other person, including his constituents, many constituents all over the place. Believe me, I have helped change the hearts and minds of so many that now they are a part of this fight. And I am proud about it, as so many of the people are.
I agree. I totally agree. I raised 2 wonderful children who I said question everything. They became agnostic and Democrat. I don't know how that happened, but I still stand by. Everybody needs to question everything.
You know what, Misdemeanor? That's a really good point that you just made. I know you think it wasn't important, but
no, it is.
Agnostic and would you say and
Democrat.
Yeah, that shows you the lay of the land.
And I support. Well, not so much the agnostic. I'm not going to beat them over the head with my religion, but they know where I stand. And they will still talk to me about God, which I think is very important. Because if you're an agnostic, why are you still, like my daughter called and said, oh, what do I tell the grandbabies about Santa Claus? And I said, okay, well, first of all, you're celebrating a birthday for a man that you don't even believe anything about, but okay. So if you're going to lie about him, why not lie about Santa Claus too? There you go. Just be a big liar to your kids. Go for it. You know,
Carlos staying so
so
quiet.
I'm still a smart ass. You know,
What are
I
these
still deserve
idiots
the
on the
right to be a
panel
smart ass.
talking about? God.
Politics and Santa Claus and Jesus.
Yeah.
And we need politics, Santa Claus, and Jesus in our lives.
Hey,
It's
hey,
bad.
hey! Don't discriminate. Where does the Easter Bunny fall in all
You know,
that?
I love the Easter Bunny.
Mhm.
He's cool as shit because he always brings like swimming pools and you know stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and those blow up swimming pool toys.
Right. Yeah. And then and bicycles and skates and stuff to do outside. So I'm a big fan of the Easter Bunny also. So there's that.
The whole
But you
world
know,
can blow up.
we can't live in an echo chamber. We cannot.
It's
We
true.
have to value each other's opinions and beliefs, no matter where they're coming from. And we have to listen to them, acknowledge them. Doesn't mean you have to accept them and believe them for yourself.
Right.
Mhm.
But and it doesn't mean that you're out to convert everybody on the planet to your belief and your way of thinking. But we do need to respect each other. You know, that's the main goal.
Someone in the side chat said there's a lack of humanity, and
There is.
I believe that there's a lack of common respect. I mean,
Mhm.
just common respect as a fellow human being. That's
Mhm.
just not there anymore. People call out people in real life like they're just a bag of trash these
And that's
days,
so dumb because at
and
the end of the
even worse
day,
on media.
if you sit down and talk to each other, really talk to each other and listen to each other, we have far more in common than we will ever have in opposition.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So I don't understand. You know, I think a lot of it is the world and the way that it is today that's setting us up to hate each other because we think differently or see things differently. And that's
Well,
so
you know,
dumb.
I'm going to challenge people on this, and that is, you know, especially on social media. Do we hate each other, or do we just have big mouths? I don't know. I
The big
personally,
anger.
I
Big
get angry
anger.
a lot. However, I don't actually hate anybody. As
No.
soon as I walk away, it's out of my head, like just like that.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
I can tell you though, men are more like that than women are. Women can hold on to that for a long time. Yeah.
hopefully I can restore a little bit of faith by saying, when you are the type of person that I am and many other like-minded patriots around our area are, when you've actually been out and about to the community centers, to the sponsorship groups, to the recovery care meetings, to just your everyday watching your neighbors walk by and coming together as a community once or twice a month and going out and about and meeting so many others, even if it's at your local grocery store or wherever it is, I can tell you that decent humanity is still alive and well out there. But
yeah.
the mainstream and a lot of those people that are a part of said mainstream, trust me, they want you believing otherwise. If you sit back and know that there are good people out there, but it takes some legwork on your part, even if somebody's mean to you, turn the other cheek and say, you know what, obviously you're not my cup of coffee. Have a nice day. Here's a smile and a wave to you, and then go find somebody else. Because I assure you, there are more good-minded, decent people out there than there are bad. But unfortunately, we do live in a very twisted up, divided world that would have us believing otherwise. But I can assure you, I've seen it with my own two eyes and experience it every single day. Good, decent humans are still out there. In the large numbers, they are out there.
And pit bulls are selfish.
Yes.
Just because they are. And she, baby girl, watch. If I quit petting her, it's not going to end happy.
Speaking of which, I do have to depart, but much love to each and every single one of you.
You too. Thank you for coming up.
Pleasure speaking with you, Misdemeanor, as always.
You too.
Nice.
Thank you for coming up. Sorry, I was quiet. I was just listening. I was listening.
She was sponging it today. Sponging it.
Yeah, I was letting you guys. I was letting you guys talk.
Doesn't want 25
It was
videos
interesting.
about her.
I think I'm gonna close down too. It's almost my lunch time. So.
I know I'll get in trouble if I don't at least say hi to Pepper and Samara S.
Yeah.
And call me
Oh
friends.
yes, definitely.
I will take screenshots of those two authors that you were speaking
I did too.
I'll definitely look into them. Melinda and Canuck.
I want to thank my mods for moderating this morning. That's you guys are awesome. Love you guys to death. And thank you, Tucker, for coming up. You're always a pleasure to talk to.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Have a good day, y'all.
You
All right,
too.
ladies.
Okay, bye. Bye, True Helper.
Hey, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Oh, I want to say goodbye to everybody in the chat and thank you for spending 3 hours and 37 minutes and 54 seconds today. I didn't expect to be on that long, but you
I
know,
right?
shit happens. But
A
you
good
guys have a
talk.
wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And
Yes.
again, I want to thank my moderators and everybody else in the chat.
Be kind to everybody. Don't be
Yeah.
good to each other. Love
Bye,
y'all.
everybody. Bye.
Bye.